Button.
Welcome back to Exalted 3rd Edition Dragon-Blooded Crimes of Nature. Last time, a whole lot of cleanup and addressing of a lot of questions and answers happened after the battle against the Empire of the Bronze Axe. The Hearth split apart into different teams to both address the deadened town that the Blood Elemental had ravaged its essence, go forward to deal with the enemy army in retreat, more or less let them know, hey, we're not interested in actually running you down, but also we want to make sure you get back safely, but also not start a war again. Angler spanning all seas took a brief trip back to the manse to speak with Unbreakable Onyx about its past and its memories of the Immaculates in the time before the Great Usurpation, as inspiration for training in a new martial art that was less poisonous in every sense of the word.
The house is very sad.
The house has many traumas. Angler poked at several of them.
I fixed it.
Yes, yeah, you helped address them. You helped it process. The main capital of the former Empire of the Bronze Axe was visited. The villages, elders, and general distributed peoples with power and position were brought together to discuss the future of the region. An increasingly popular opinion immediately arose of what if we just let it go back to what this was before this all started. Obsidian Shield inspected the army, located the basically wannabe jackboots who wanted to go back to the good old days of being a brutal, repressive autocracy, and taught them a couple of lessons. Repose found the problem of the anathema inside the elite guard burned down the temple on the way out of town, and the temple did not have enough supernatural backing to stand up to such a thing. So got to work on inspiring the people to rebuild. Oh, right. I almost forgot. There was a letter that was received from your friend again. And after a fair bit of working on a fairly difficult cipher on the attendant letter from your friend, who claims to have a level of connection or closeness to Ruby Gauntlet Tyrant, and also a vested interest in him failing in whatever he is planning. They were able to get the gist of whatever the letter is, but not the contents. It's some sort of poem, and it's some sort of poem to someone that Tyrant is familiar with.
What tongue was it in again?
Old Realm.
Old Realm, okay.
Old,
Yeah,
but under layers of obfuscation.
Yeah, multiple serious cipher attempts. And I believe that was all that happened last time. And we kind of left off back in sandbox mode of all currently pressing, agenda items had been ticked off. And the goals were open in the player base to go investigate whatever plot hooks sounded interesting again.
Which one of us keeps the adventure journal?
Probably you, frankly.
I'm gonna unfurl that and look at what I wrote down as side quests.
Well, there's your ongoing fetch quest, which right now you think you have to
That one's unmarked. I have no idea where the hell I get those.
Yeah, right now it's like the last thing you did was trade for a couple of eye drops. You're pretty sure they're not ever gonna go bad, but you're never quite sure about that. The side quest you were looking into, demons, is written up at the top, underlined in caps.
There's one just marked investigate Sybil spots 2 of 6.
Yeah, there's one marked figure out God's Breath River. Another one follow up with family. Another one, check in with Koi. Another one, fuck up Grey Falls.
I am now deciding that there is literally okay, so my journal for this is actually a bunch of pages I can take out, and then I'm gonna lay them out on the floor so everyone during breakfast can see that I actually have a very comprehensive summary of fuck a Grey Falls about all our deeds so far and what I could go. So yeah, we're probably just all in a campsite with all this shit on the floor, and I'm explaining it.
There's other things but those are the major ones. Aside from maybe going back in and checking on teeth, I think would be the only major in character hanging thread that you might have written down.
Yeah, it seems like all the hooks we can go do. What are we eating this morning?
Rapo's got to spend a reasonable amount of time just with himself having a thought during the disassembly, the very controlled demolition of the Axe Palace, from which he also took a cut for himself.
Of course.
As appropriate compensation for services of a soldier of creation. Which he has hauled back to the charred remains of the city's former temple, which was struck down in battle against enemies of the world.
Did you strike down a building?
The elemental sure as fuck did.
I guess you can kill spots, yeah.
During the whole march back from the battlefield, Rapose spent time socializing with and preaching at and generally intermingling with the defeated army who had been duped. Put some ideas to them. I have paid for a third point of resources, a first point of followers, and the first 3 dots of war.
Yep, you now have a posse.
Where Rapose, after that working day is done, hauls his share of the loot back to the wreckage of the previous temple, and goes ahead and slams down a standing stone to mark the founding of a new temple.
Is this how it works?
And actually, in getting it started, apply some branding that members of the team will recognize as being present on his whole body art.
Yeah, that's
Deal.
that's legal.
This is dibs. This is how it works.
There is a vacancy, and one of the fundamental things you could point to as to what went wrong here is they had no supernatural protection.
If only there was some sort of easily accessible supernatural protection that previous religious dogma had sealed them off from.
I'm supernatural protection. And this is that ideal distance from home that's far enough that you won't be hassled day to day, but close enough that you're still within support range. Could reinforce each other.
And just far enough away from the Immaculate Order that they're not going to take notice of you.
Yes.
Yep.
This is a place that has room for all manner of appropriate local conduct to flourish. So yeah, Propose is going to claim that site.
Yeah. No, it's... Go ahead.
I don't have a full scene of dialogue in mind, but the crew that Repose has managed to get on board, there's probably more of them that are going to actually end up in the one follower dot.
Yep.
So what he's going to leave them with is you'll do the planning for getting the building reconstructed, put out all the appropriate feelers for, hey, people, donate to rebuilding the one defense that you will have against repeating the incident.
Yep. If you have any sense of self-preservation, maybe go in on this project a little bit.
I am not the kind of priest who hands out crowns, but I am an agent of peace who can ensure that there is a peaceful place to arbitrate as you just go about coexisting with each other. As long as you remain in good standing with the community. Yeah, and so the work crew will be left here to go about getting the reconstruction started, and while they are there, sorting out amongst themselves who intends to just continue to reside here, and who would be willing to pack up and go on the road.
With the hearth to the temple for the new life.
To get relocated to the Vigil for further training, and then be Rapose's war/work party
So
for
yeah,
ongoing pilgrimage.
with one daughter followers, you get maybe a dozen odd people out of the gaggle of hundreds that immediately just jump on the chance, but you can tell from your working over that you've got a lot of people who are seriously considering it, but they just got to get some stuff in order.
And conveniently, well, the Hearth has business over the hill, so we'll be speaking with the neighbors, and then we'll be back, and we'll see how people are feeling.
We also need to speak to the people to the south as well.
We can follow the road.
You mean southwest?
Just straight south, the Jade Orchid Prefecture. We got to go talk with them.
Yeah.
Well, they're about to have a happening.
Yeah, do you want to be there when the happening occurs?
Do you want to be in the crossfire of the audit?
The audit of the Immaculates and the possible insurrection from Burr.
Should we stay away from that?
Hey, who wants to take a cloud ride
I'm gonna say
up the hill?
Just the dynasts. I'm not even gonna have roll. Your innate thought process of the Immaculates are coming in on investigations of heresy is don't be within about 50 miles.
It's less the people inside there. I'm a little bit more worried about the people on the outside that we talked with, the people that were rebellious against that, if they're going to get stomped out as kind of like an example. And that's what I'm worried about.
They already have a heads up the Immaculates are coming, and that's basically all that you're going to be able to do for them.
Okay, cool.
They already know this is on the way.
Also, Holdout
then that's
Town
it.
is for the most part not heretical.
Yeah, Holdout Town is decidedly against the jackass who was doing bad things. Like, if anything, they were going to look good at the Immaculates.
The
because they
accusation we didn't lay down out loud is that this guy is up to some manner of diablerie and devilry, and other reckless sorcerous acts.
They have nothing to do with that at all.
No wizards over here.
Yep, and we can pass along a message just saying, "Hey, make sure everything looks prim and proper for the Immaculates."
Yeah,
You-
and
Look on the
Again,
good side.
even if the Immaculates did go floor beams to floorboards, have roof beams to floorboards, they wouldn't really find much this side from like a stern talking to level of heresy. Like there's the ancestor stuff, but like there is a quiet tolerance of a certain level of that in almost every Immaculate area, largely going to the frontiers. And okay, so there's an exigent at the head of this who wants to mess up this government.
Exigents are
Ordinarily-
tenuously legal beings.
Yeah, exigents are like, okay, now we have to deal with the gods. We don't know who your patron is. We need to deal with them. Also, you're aligned against the person who we are charging with heresy, so you're actually kind of just on our side. So, like, in general, they have almost nothing to fear from the Immaculates beyond the Immaculates' usual desire for expansion and religious hegemony. Which, that's part and parcel of existing out here.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's a very good point to bring up, but I just it has been a while since I talked about them, so I figured I would go down on the logic on that.
Did you have anything else, Loon?
Nope, just declaring those purchases and getting that concept squared away and on the table.
Alright, cool.
There's rebuilding to do and a new chapter to open.
So there is one last question, as Chad actually brought up a pretty good point that I was going to bring up myself. Would Repose proactively let the Immaculates know he called dibs, or would he just wait for them to figure that one out in this themselves?
I got here first.
Very good. Okay.
Looked at the rules. He was here first.
But
Man,
he hasn't put sun iconography up there. He has put something that is actually his personal brand to use in
Yes.
the family genealogy.
Yeah, this is
He is
this
making
is
himself
literally
patron saint of this new temple.
this is I am Prince of the Earth Dibzingus.
This is
And
my
that's
house.
just this is inarguable. It's just like, well, he's a priest, he got here first. Okay.
It's Prince of the Earth. What are we gonna do?
This is if we fight this, not only do we get into a fight with him and his hearth, we get into a fight with his entire temple. Not worth it.
If you want to settle this like dragons, let's go.
Yeah, no, and
You say to the
Obsidian
mortal
choose the
auditor who's
season.
shown up.
Repose knows damn well enough they are too busy to have that kind of slap fight right now.
Oh, you want to have that fight now when there's one or more Draculas active in our territory?
Yeah, no, like, if this was a completely peaceful season with literally nothing happening, they might saber rattle at you. Right now, they're not even gonna bother.
I just slew the blood monster that destroyed the previous resident of this lot. I think I
Mhm.
get a house.
Yeah, and again, you just cleaned anathema out of this country, and the
That's what
Immaculate...
happens, right?
It's kind of like, yeah, you get the country as dibs. You get that as spoils. That's how this works.
Among the instructions Repose will leave to the work crew is to repave the section of road immediately in front of the temple lot, and just spread the word of reminding people to adopt sections of road, patronize the road, keep the roads clean, healthy, maintain
Strong.
the vital connections between people.
Maintain infrastructure.
The road is something to care for.
Yes.
The road and the river. But especially the road for Milan.
Also, yeah, the river. Don't upset these people. They
Yeah.
like the river.
That village likes
Even
the
the
river.
Stink Man did not pollute the river. Not even he fell that low, and he sold all of his blood to monsters.
Yeah. That's actually that would probably stand out.
Also,
as
if you
like,
encounter any household that espouses some sort of enduring loyalty to the previous king, track them down, detain them, strip them of their possessions, tie them to a post in the middle of town, and whip them till your arms are too sore to continue.
Yeah, you don't really have to push that one too hard. Feels like that was already kind of the plan.
And at such time as you can no longer continue the act, leave them to the rats.
Find a friend whose arms are in good condition and have them
If
whip.
they cannot
Pass it
convince a
off, make it
vulture
family
to
affair.
spare their life, then such is the life they've made.
But yeah, there was one last little thing that Crumb mentioned, and the river is like right here on the side of the town, so you would be able to do it.
Yeah, he is simply going to take an offering that he found either in the temple or what have you, and he's going to take to the lowest part of the river and pay homage to Sand and Clouds, the dampness spirit, because of the help that we received from them.
Okay, roll me a prayer roll. That would be a either charisma or manipulation. Charisma or manipulation plus, I'd say, performance or presence.
Cool. I'm good at neither of those things. Let's see how this goes. This will be manipulation presence.
Okay.
Two successes.
You don't get a personal visit or anything. It seems like the elemental's rather busy, probably filing paperwork about what the hell happened over the past few days. But you do get a sense in the back of your head as the river washes away the offering and then kind of buries it into the silt in an embrace. That, the message received and, gratefully acknowledged.
Excellent. That was really all he wanted to do, because a part of how Angler came to his culmination of ideas is because of the water elemental, so it was appreciated. And also, he kind of had a couple ideas while he came up there, and he's going to wait for the group to be on the storm cloud to bring them up.
All right. So we can just go straight to the storm cloud unless the rest of you have business in this town. Which it sounds like you don't.
Nope.
Nope, can't think of anything.
All right, so moving on, off you go onto the storm cloud, and presumably out towards the God's Breath River over the cliff. Or would you be taking the detour? No, wait, you wouldn't be taking the detour.
No, we would just be going straight.
So yeah, you would be approaching the cliff pretty quickly on the river.
On the way out of here, check up on the pillar, see if anyone is paying appropriate respects to the now decorated commemorative pillar.
Okay. So you would be skimming along the side of the cliff for a while first, then.
I mean, like,
So-
after God's Breath, we could do that.
Oh, after. So yeah. What you would do is then just kind of approach the source point of the river, where you can in fact see that there is a kind of a cenote, kind of geyser hole in the ground, partially into the wall of the cliff itself, from which the spring water is bubbling. It's not erupting right now, but it is very clear that this is a kind of a geyser spring. And then you just go straight up, and you keep flying up, and because you're going so fast, it only takes a couple of minutes, but the fact is, you're going that fast and it still takes a couple of minutes. This is a very tall cliff. So, there's a little time for conversation.
So I've been thinking as I've been reading over this puzzle that we've been given and letter, who could be close to Ruby Gauntlet and be able to get information out and would know specifically us to give us information, or specifically Rapose's grandmother.
Koi?
No, I don't think it could be her, but I think
Alright.
it's Skin.
Yeah, Repose has an idea to offer up here, and like the stunt process to be considered. Having some manner of writing surface out, and taking a moment to just carefully with his own hand scratch out some of the characters that are being used in the cipher.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking about, so, like, in keeping with like the first thoughts that Repose would have on trying to teach someone boxing, there's the marks and movements that you trace through the world are a consequence of the actual structure of your being.
Mm-hmm.
And so, handwriting will have all of its telltale signs. And while a ghost remembers how it felt to write with their hands, there are certain shortcuts that ghosts will start to take because they are no longer operating within the actual confines of having bones and joints anymore.
You don't have
Repose
to
is just going
follow
to
hand
carefully,
physics.
forensically think about if there are any signs of this, signs of that, little bits of ghost mark in.
That's a
how
2 die
this is
stunt
written.
because that's excellent insight on your linguistics roll. Hell, you might, if it's of cults higher, you can sub that in.
A cult with that specialty in the dead. And, let's excellence about that. Let's lean in very heavily.
All right,
Big thinking.
big think. So,
Did whoever wrote this have actual tangible bones?
yes, and the Okay, so which letter are you asking that about?
Well, actually, I
Both?
guess if the subject right now is the our friend, yeah.
Your friend's letter.
The introductory letter.
Yes, but
And there's one rerolled die to check on that from the excellency.
yes, but it's odd. It is not quite what you would expect from a normal person hand doing a normal person writing, but it's not quite the same hand and ledger you would expect from a ghost either. There's some sort of deliberate, either a ghost trying to mask that it is a ghost, or a person trying to mask themselves as a ghost. There is some level of deliberate affectation going on, and it is right in the middle where you can't tell which was the original tick that they were trying to hide.
Does he Repose bring this up to the group?
Yeah.
Could it be a ghost inhabiting someone's body and trying to mask it that way?
That might be the case, because then they would have to be getting used to a meat body again, but there still feels like there's a deliberate deception going on. Like, and if it was a possession of a body, then it would be possibly to hide the original handwriting of the ghost itself in somebody else's hand, because puppeting someone else's hand is going to change your handwriting. What you don't know.
In either case, this seems to me unlike the flayed one. It found the wearing of mortal flesh to be discomforting, distasteful.
Stifling, one might say.
Yes. Furthermore, beings of that sort are more often proud of their divergence from the norms of nature. I feel that if the Flayed One considered himself our ally, it would not be, would feel no particular need to be coy about this. Recall that it approached my family in person.
Yeah, it directly invoked the rules of hospitality to just walk in.
This feels like someone who's got something to hide.
It is either spirit posing as one who is still embodied, or one of the living seeking to hide among the dead. What sort of
This is
living
above
thing
my
would
pay
dare to
grade.
infiltrate the underworld?
What did you say, Obsidian?
I said this is above my pay grade.
Why would he? So that's like a ghost, right? What could it have to hide?
It is either a ghost pretending to be a person or a person pretending to be a ghost by the handwriting. Or, some level of deliberate shenanigans and deception is going on in the handwriting itself to make it unclear who or what wrote this.
Well, I'm stumped.
Well, while we have the privacy of just travel time on the cloud,
Mm-hmm.
Propose could take the time to remind that there is an actor in this play oft left unaccounted for thus far. Certain starry-eyed man.
Who?
What if this is purple?
I'm sorry, it's very appropriate. That response was
Yes.
who?
To remind players, Oak had two unfortunate dealings with powerful beings. One
Oh, right.
with Purple Starman, who hold on, clicked the wrong button there. One with Purple Starman, who gave him some kind of deal for power in exchange for fucking up his destiny. And then with Red Hand in order to get a way to avoid the consequences of his deal with Purple Man.
Oh shit, I've made a really bad deal. And then Tyrant came in and said, hey, I can get you out of that bad deal.
And also to note for players, Sybil and Sun insinuated that there was another person in the Wild Dome who we didn't notice.
When did they do that?
What if it was purple?
Yeah, when they teleported in the chasm and were kind of trolling you for a little bit, there was the brief illusion that there was another presence there.
Hey, they just very fortunately, coincidentally, happened to know to drop by in this area around the time that things went to where we needed to go, which maybe just birds were spying on that and keeping an eye on it and told them. The timing, though. The good fortune of the timing.
Do you want to go over there?
What if it was purple? Well, we're doing our stuff that we're doing right now. I'm just talking about these things to remind people of
Yeah.
stuff that happened
Bring
a
them
while
back
ago
into
now,
active narrative thought.
in real time.
I actually have something I'd like to do here. Looking at the letter from our friend, I'd like to use permeating insight on it, which
What
is
exactly?
it's deceit, lies, and obfuscation won't avail fugitives from the Dragonblood's justice. Their sins are as clear as crystal in their eyes. So I add essence, non-charm dice on a roll to profile a character. I want to try to build a profile on our friend.
All right, go ahead and roll.
Okay.
The charm.
This is a very high difficulty.
Obviously, but it's one of those ideas that based on Repose's idea and based on the writing that we've had from them, you can start to build ideas on how they write, what words they choose, what words they don't
This is a
choose.
fantastic idea. I'm just warning you. If you have extra stuff to throw in, that would be a good idea.
I mean, I'm going to be using all of my investigation excellency on this and such, but it's just more of a, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so this would be investigation wits? Perception? Intelligence?
Wits, because you're
Okay.
using quick thinking and like
Okay.
making connections.
So that's 9 plus 2 successes using that. And then I add... I need to make sure I've got all the numbers on this because there's a lot of... I haven't used this charm before. Adds essence, non-charm dice. Okay, so it's 12 plus 2 extra. Okay. With 2 successes on top of that, and I'll throw in a willpower to boost it to 7. Oh, nope, I don't have any 10s to reroll those 6s. Damn.
Okay. So you're at a 6?
I'm at a 7.
7. Okay. I'm going to give you a bonus success for one specific thing. From Obsidian, the first time you got this letter, immediately noting the specific way it was suspicious the first time. How it felt kind of backhanded. Like, all of the praise for you felt like it was somewhat sarcastic or otherwise kind of said with a smirk on your face. This is someone very, like, you don't have to get 7 successes to get a profile. This is someone trying to use you. The problem is, they are very willfully and very meticulously leaving it ambiguous as to who they are and what they want, which insinuates that if you knew either of those, you would not be happy, or that if you knew either of those, it would complicate things greatly for them or for you. There is something going on where innately they want to be hidden more than they want this to work. If you just walk away and say, fuck it, I don't care, and don't figure out who they are, that's an acceptable loss. There is a level of just evasiveness in here, of deliberate obfuscation. They're trying to play a lot of fields at once, and you are just one of them.
What if it was purple?
It could be purple. What I'm also worried about is, and I'm not very well versed in all of this, and perhaps Repose can fill me in on this. It could be another player that we haven't met yet that's trying to clear the field. And if they play us against Ruby, and the two of us manage to take each other off the board, they might have a way to move in themselves.
That, something in your gut is leaning towards that.
What?
This feels like someone trying to set up an out of nowhere, rather
What
than
if it was gray? Gray Falls.
You're not sure if you've ever met whoever this is. They say that you are kind of aware of them and that they have connections with Tyrant. You don't know who this is, but you have the feeling that they're on their own side of one. This is somebody fucking with everyone else.
Okay, I would relay that to the group, but definitely filing that in my head of I need to talk to someone who can crack this code, and that might give me more of an insider, a profile on the character. I'm going to be adding that on my character sheet of profile of question mark.
You
Speaking
can just
of
profile of your friend for now, maybe.
speaking of unknown actors, this is something that Milan's going to bring up at some point.
Mm-hmm.
In all of our traipsing around the kingdoms, there's always been a group that has been present but silent, the guilds.
Mm-hmm.
We've only ever seen, like, at the Jade Orchid, them selling drugs or them trying to push in on Fallen River Province, but we've never actually seen them do anything. They've never taken any action.
That is their action.
Hmm?
That is their action.
Yeah.
That's guild doing what they do.
I would say your base level instinct is, yeah, of course, that's
Yeah.
just how they operate. But roll me with bureaucracy if you really want to ponder on that.
Five successes. Yeah, I'm just kind of feeling like I feel like they're doing something more and we're not seeing it.
The longer you think about it, the more validated your hunch feels, in the sense that the guild is always up to something sketchy and always up to some bullshit.
And
But it's usually some bullshit that you don't easily like. The guild is known for two things: discretion and not being all that discreet for a lot of things. Like, they will be very discreet for things that are dangerous and close to the chest. But if they're doing something sketchy and it's just kind of like, well, I mean, you know, it's not legal, but nobody's stopping me, they don't really fucking bother covering that up. And the only real thing of that nature you've seen is the dealings with the Jade Orchid Prefecture. From how much you have wandered around and how much you have interacted with these governments and how much you have seen their economic stuff, the guild is playing weirdly fair around here.
Yeah, I've got the feeling that they're doing something, and they're doing something they don't want us to see. And the fact that we haven't seen it yet has me worried.
Yeah, that would be a fair enough hunch. And again, kind of the reinforcement you would have is that for all of the stuff that you have been traveling around, the guild is either seemingly strangely less corrupt than usual around here, which is kind of like saying that you've seen a unicorn recently, or whatever they consider corrupt is something they really don't want people on the outside to see today. And whether that is just some level of morally extremely dubious thing, like a Raksha slave trade, or something else, loud question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Just piping up from the side of the room hasn't really said much this entire conversation. Just being like, again, no, I don't know how workings with demons and what have you go, but would they be trying to cut a deal with Ruby Hand?
The guild?
I wouldn't
Yeah.
put it past them.
It's okay, so Repose would know it is not unheard of for the guild to go into the underworld and mess around with ghosts as for ghost economy, and it is also not unheard of, but usually dealt with extreme prejudice, that they try and deal directly with Death Lords. So it would not be impossible, but you would expect them to have that kind of consequence be loudly and violently swatted the moment.
Grinding of teeth and ominous vibrating at the thought of, people would.
So they might, and it might be the fact that they are doing it and the only reason they haven't been murdered is nobody's seen it. But it's also possible that the reason it hasn't happened is that they're not doing it.
Is because whoever is in charge of this chapter is just smart enough to not touch that stove.
Yeah, either They could be very greedy, or they could have functional brain cells and decide, "No, I don't want any of that. Actually, thank you."
Or they could be smart enough that they know how to touch the stove and not get burned.
Or think they do.
Yeah.
And yeah, actually, a good little bit of side lore that I had forgotten from the Underworld book is that one of the foundations of the guild's dealings with the Underworld is when the guild founder died, he took most of his riches to the grave with him, because you can do that in creation. And so people wanted that back. And he traded with them because he was a traitor. And then capitalism infected the Underworld.
You hate to see it happen.
But yeah.
Hey, does anyone see the top of this ledge yet?
Oh, you would probably be going over the mountains at this point.
Okay.
And it would not be like 20 minutes to go up. It would be like 2 or 3. You would be going over.
has been... Since Milan is distracted by conversation, we actually went up and back down the cliff a couple of times.
We're zigzagging up and down the cliff.
Bounced off it a couple of times like a moth on a lamp.
You said serpentine to avoid them detecting us. Yes, I meant serpentine over flat. Never mind.
So, presumably the standard landing MO of not landing, loudly in sight of place. And
Find
then
an appropriate open field.
Yep.
Yeah. Touchdown in the river valley outside of town. As you go over, the first thing to strike you is that this is an incredibly meticulously irrigated river valley. There are rice paddies absolutely everywhere, terraced out to be just very well taken care of. Milan is immediately struck by the sheer, I don't know if professionality is the right word. The people out here fucking know how to farm and maximize yields. These are people who know what they're doing and have had a lot of support of infrastructure development. This is incredibly impressive. This is something that you might see as a breadbasket for a realm satrapy level of industrial development, not industrial, but infrastructural development of food supply. This is probably a very rich nation via exports, and very well fed.
Neat.
And looking out over the rest of the valley, just kind of thinking how far out you would be able to see and what kind of villages you would be able to see. So the capital that you are landing next to is the God's Hearth. Let's see. Yeah, the only village you would really be able to see nearby is one that you have marked on this map, not literally marked on this map, but marked down from local discussion as Rabbit Hills. It is a fur trapper area kind of thing. They're near the forest. They go out, trapping. Apparently there's very good game out that way. But everywhere else is a little too far out for you to really see. So, God's Hearth would be your destination as you land with the cloud in a field that doesn't look like it has anybody currently tending it. Because it is the wet season and this is a rice paddy, it is incredibly flooded, so you have to find a good deal of maneuvering around so you don't land somewhere, waist to chest deep in water. But you manage to find enough patches of dry ground that you can land on, or for old man, put, the geta on without immediately sinking down into the mud. So, upon the approach, God's Hearth is, from the cities that you have been to recently, refreshingly modest looking. It is not as ostentatious and hastily built up kind of glorious monument to myself as the Bronze Axe's capital was. It is not the same level of Potemkin Blessed Isle as the Jade Orchid, and it is not quite the same level of old growth sprawl as the Fallen River Valley's capital was. It's just people have lived here for a long time, and they have built up a city around it, and this is a very fertile area, so it is just kind of naturally grown out and out and out, and it is probably got its size and dominance of the region by virtue of being at the headwaters and being the biggest village first. Of course, the fact that it apparently currently, at least for now, you don't know how long this has been the case or what was the case before, has a dragon-blooded administrator named the Steel-Tearing Bureaucrat. Doesn't hurt matters.
Still a good fucking name.
It's a good name.
Mm-hmm.
Out of character, I'm just thinking about all the ways we might completely destroy this province, like we've done so many others.
I was gonna say, you haven't really, looks at the last 3 in a row you visited.
Yeah, not destroyed, and not destroyed.
Can I sniff the air with my survival nose and just be like, Can I get a vibe check?
Sure, actually. Roll me with survival with a 1 die stunt.
So I'm pretty sure it's 5. 3. Wow, really? Slash roll 1d10. Nose clogged.
Nose machine broke. You take a heavy sniff in and you immediately get allergens and pollen in your nose because it's the middle of the season and it's all just got thrown up in the
Get
air.
a lung full of swamp.
Yeah, it's just all you smell is, boy, it is the middle of the agricultural season. You just can't smell anything but plant and mud and water and flood and some poop and some pollen. If anybody else wants to do like vibe check rolls or any other investigation before going into the city proper, you feel free.
To take a quick look at the people walking in and out the walls and structure of the city to see if they look like they're on edge or anything like that.
No, they all look pretty relaxed, actually, and actually incredibly well fed. They are noticeably like taller and better, like have better nutrition than most everybody in the lowlands. Like, the Fallen River Valley would probably be the closest to general good economic wealth and health and nutrition, but these people have obviously been raised in like there is no such thing as a food shortage here. So they look relaxed, healthy, and prosperous. So going into the city, it is again an unplanned city. It has not been laid down as a monument to one's own ego. So there's not really a continuous through line. There is the usual following of geomantic design. So there is the understanding of, okay, if I go in this direction, I'm going to find this. And if I go in this direction, I'm going to find the temple. And if I go this direction, I'm going to find the center. But beyond that, it is very much the natural sprawl of humans have lived here for hundreds of years and buildings went up ad hoc as they were needed, while not messing things up everywhere around them. It is currently kind of just full of bustle and life, and you would never know that down the cliff and down a couple dozen miles away, there was nearly a war a couple of days ago. It is just a completely different world up here. And climate-wise, it's actually almost a different world as well. There's a kind of thin mist hanging in the air, just from the sheer nature of this whole place being the wet side of a rain shadow. This whole hill going up being so full of rain, and a Pacific Northwest style kind of rainforest out in the forests out here. And in the valley, a lot of the mist just settles down. So it's just kind of a thin, not difficult to breathe or see, but just kind of a haze. And everybody just seems to be going about their business and going about their day. And you do get a couple of errant looks your way of just like, oh, well, that's obviously important, affluent, probably princes of the earth. But unlike the last couple of places you've been, you don't actually get too many glances your way like, oh shit. It's more along the lines of, oh, okay. Just I'll walk and give you some extra berth, but it's not completely unheard of to have unknown dragon-blooded visitors here, it seems.
Make the usual very open show of, loudly and visibly being spiritual down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Presence, de-escalation.
Is
Project
this
the
place
good
a
vibes.
theocracy?
You don't know for certain. Repose, by just doing the prayer rolls, would be getting actually a bunch of layfolk giving kind of the proper liturgical word escapes me, like and also to you kind of response to a prayer.
Mhm.
That kind of completion of a prayer given back to you from a lot of the lay people. This seems to be a pretty devout place. You wouldn't guess theocracy, Angler, but you can see there are actually multiple small temples to like local gods and regional spirits and other larger regional spirits. There seems to be, instead of a single huge centralized temple, a bunch of decentralized shrines, and then probably one major temple for all of the above, plus the standard big elemental dragons, the general nod in the direction of the Incarna without looking at them too directly to be disrespectful, etc. But this, seems to be a pretty pious place. Repose can tell that it is immaculate, asterisk, but with the smallest asterisk that he's seen so far. This seems to be somewhere that wouldn't quite be cops if they knew that you were ancestor worship leaning, but they would certainly not be on board. They'd be like, do that somewhere else, please.
What does anyone know about Steel Boss?
Roll me wits bureaucracy or intelligence lore.
I can do that. I've probably heard of this person.
Mm-hmm.
I will tag in specialty in temple politics to specifically want to know about the spiritual leanings of Steel Boss and company here. Just two.
And I'm specifically looking at the bureaucratic leanings of this person.
Okay. So, spiritually, they are... The words... Gotta look for the proper descriptor of this. Uptight, but not fanatic. They are very much hidebound, kind of raised in a specific religious manner. Will look down on you very strongly if you don't have the same kind of inclinations as them, but they're not gonna program you for it. They're not gonna, forcibly make everyone follow the exact interpretation of the Immaculate Texts as them, but they will think less of you.
This place is very by the book.
Yeah, this is very bureaucratic, obviously. Very took inspiration, probably not directly from the realm. There's not enough of the attendant imitations of the realm's specific quirks, but this is probably a bureaucratic system and country, or a continuation of a tradition that has gone on for a very long time and settled in very comfortably and does not like being jostled. For Milan, it is just the indications of this is its own kind of emergent bureaucratic state that has had a very long time to decide that this is the proper traditions in all, formal capital letters at the front, and will scowl at you quite heavily for messing with that or doing anything with that, but won't really go into full war crimes over it unless you really, really push it. religiously kind of similar. They are officially and on the table aligned with the Immaculate Temple. Like full above board, get visitors from the Immaculates. There is the general drift of any Immaculate lined temple out in the sticks, but there is a genuine effort to put an honest effort into keeping to the book. Or the many, many books, as it were. There are, concessions for, okay, we'll give you a little extra time for this regional god, or, this one did you a lot of solids back in the day, so they get some extra quirks and benefits, but overall, it is, we have the foundational texts of this area, and we're going to follow that.
And they do so while being the local power nearest the Moonoids.
Yes, they do.
Interesting. Interesting.
Neither of you have high enough successes for me to feel justified talking more about that.
Interesting.
Well, I have a question for Darren.
Suppose
Go
wouldn't
ahead.
cry.
What day is it?
Let me double check the calendar.
It's Old Man's Day is what it is.
There you are. I was wondering when you were going to open your mouth.
I was catching up on things. I missed most of the day.
That's fine.
Also, I was solving food problems.
Yeah, you were busy doing your
Right.
grand schemes. Yes. It is the 15th. It is the equivalent of Sunday, which is not actually a particularly religious kind of day in creation. But it's the start of the week. The start of the third week of the Resplendent Water. Right
It's
after
walking day.
So,
It is right after the last of the full moon.
Sunday isn't terribly important to some people. Repose is
so
gone casual for this visit to the neighbors.
I have
Look,
an idea.
The maidens lobbied quite hard.
I have an idea.
Mhm.
We've been traveling a lot. I say under my breath, we just fought a war. What if we took a week off?
The what?
What if we just take a short vacation and not travel, fight, do the things we do? Just take some time to ourselves.
I don't understand.
We just stop and breathe.
What?
Old man, the one being told to stop and breathe. No, that sounds like bullshit, actually.
That's.
If someone
That
else
is-
says it, then I can't do it.
We've come to somewhere that's not
relaxing. It's-
on fire. What if we just took a short break?
Yeah, okay.
I don't get it.
Yang taking
We're still
He's
here to visit
first.
Steel.
Yes.
Yang's first taste of relaxation will make it so that he just actually melts into being just a cat.
I
in a
wonder
well.
I wonder if there's a gambling hall somewhere around here.
Oh, almost certainly. You just have
Time
to
for
find it.
Mahjong episode.
I grab Milan, hoist him over my head, and start asking where Jong lives. Come on, we're gonna go. Come on.
Yoink.
Adventure awaits!
As Yang sprints off into the crowds asking about where the Zhong man lives. Which,
No person can hold me.
would any of the other of you have an initial thing to do to poke around? I'm pretty sure I can guess Reposes, but...
Repose is already sliding towards center of government.
Oh, I was gonna say that you were gonna be sliding towards the center of dead, but... center of government also works.
Well, to put it out there, this is also one of the places we have been that is administrated over by one of the
The princes
of the
earth,
greater family. So actually, Repose doesn't have the authority to just barge in as senior being.
and kick down the door and immediately investigate everything. You actually have to go ask permission now.
Yes, this
But
is
what
someone
if he
else's
had an
turf.
actual Prince of the Earth from the island with him?
You don't know for sure whether or not that's a positive or a negative yet.
But I'd be willing to go with Repose if he was headed towards the center of the government.
Oh yeah, no, you
Oh,
can
yeah.
go ahead.
Yep, just loudly and visibly make way down street towards center of city.
Okay, so that's Angler and Repose taken care of. Malone is being hoisted by Yang to look for crimes, and Mahjong and side quests. Obsidian, would you have a particular plan?
Obsidian's going fishing.
Nice.
You are on the river. All right, I'll get back to you. And I'm assuming Old Man is just gonna find the highest place in vibe.
Let's see here. Let me think about this. What will Old Man do? Old Man will do the exact thing you just said.
Just making sure. Always want to make
Keep
sure.
an eye out. He's actually looking around for once.
Actual
from the
proactive.
from the high place and vibing. He's just keeping an eye out for things in general to really get a gauge on what this place feels like.
Okay. If
He's
you're going
trying
for
to eke out the vibe more than anything else, than just vibing himself.
give me your read intentions on the city, then.
Right. Here's a fun
What's-
fact. I'm merely okay at this.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you a 1 die stunt on it though for doing the Assassin's Creed perch and looking around.
Merely two successes. Because
Old man.
this is a spiritual-ish place, right? So like this is
Yes.
somewhere he should be actually like he should
You
be
are
thinking about this area.
you are at once comfortable here and unbelievably chokingly repressed here.
Mhm.
In the sense that this is a very spiritual place, considering spiritual matters and, preoccupied with not necessarily of this earthly plane, but a lot of that spiritual matter does have to deal with the terrestrial gods and the terrestrial matters and things like the harvests and things like the cycle of the world itself. So it is very much fettered to this place and this, land beneath your feet.
People who are very devoutly a bunch of nerds.
Mm-hmm.
And not the correct kind either.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that though.
It's against Old Man's personal way of approaching spirituality, but they are still pretty devout.
Yeah, I don't know if I have actually. Old Man does respect the terrestrial gods and stuff like that. He just also wants to, ascend past them.
Right. Okay.
He's got more ambition than they do, is the idea.
I had never been fully clear on that because I knew you of your opinions on the celestial gods.
I mean, because here's the thing: whenever he summons up an elemental, he is summoning up a terrestrial being, right?
Yeah.
So and he does always respect those. He never actively disrespects them or anything like that.
Mhm.
It's not that he It is, however, the case of if one of them were to ask him exactly what's going on, and also even going back to the tree spirit that helped us do. Old Man talked with that one, and when the two of them, the rest of the group threatened him, I don't know if you remember this. I don't know if it was particularly audible, but I did say, and they couldn't actually solve it peacefully, so they had to threaten him.
Yes, no, you said that, and they all took umbrage.
Exactly, because Old Man does respect them. He just also wants to go beyond.
Okay, then you get a very kind of, honestly, just kind of quiet, peaceful, quaint feeling from this place of there doesn't really seem to be an underhandedness here. There's just a quiet.
However, with all that in mind, that does
town.
mean that this place is extremely useless for my ends.
Yes,
Therefore,
that is what I was trying to get at. Is spiritually, this place is just fucking does nothing for me.
Yeah, it is now just the place to. If he did relax, he would, but he doesn't. So he's just gonna go off and do some manner. He's gonna go off and do his thing.
Yep.
Daily rituals, breathing deeply, thinking about
Scoff at people from above.
this guy and scoff
Old
at
man
people
would never
from
scoff
above
at people
if
from
they-
above.
if they
Blaming
deserve
things
that.
on birds.
Well,
That
yeah,
would
of
he
course.
that he would absolutely do.
100%, yeah.
So,
I mean, they can't muster up much of a, an argument, so why not?
most cannot. But anyway,
And
so
no,
let's
no,
go
no,
to
even the ones that can, they probably can't out-argue old man.
that is a good point. So, Angler and Repose, I will do your scene first for the government, and then I will go to the hijinks of Milan and Yang and Obsidian. So, the center of government is, as is becoming increasingly clearly a pattern, pretty standard, pretty by the book, pretty function over form. There is not a level of ostentatiousness here. It is honestly downright refreshing to look at with your eyeballs. After the last set of palaces you've seen, it is just, this is a government building. We go here to do the government things. Why would we make it look fancy?
It's a house, but more so.
It's a big house that we do important stuff in. We made it
Laws
look a
live
little
here.
nice, but it needs to just stay up. That's what it does. Upon approaching, you notice a couple of things as you come in to the general area and then up to the door. There's no armed guards outside. There is just not a armed contingent at the front door.
They're always threatening their citizens in front of the government office. Crazy.
Yeah, they're not. So when you go inside, there is kind of a general reception style area where you can see guards posted. But they're not like, standing at attention with pole arms or anything. It's just there's some people with, a decent kit of armor and a sword on their side.
Is there a line? Are there petitioners here today? Is there a lineup? Are there petitioners about?
There's a small line. There's maybe 3 or 4 people in front of you.
Let's wait in line.
That's
Yes,
polite.
sounds sensible.
Okay. The first person goes in. The other 3 people look behind you and do a look, do a double take, and then just kind of give a kind of eye contact look to the both of you of like, do you want us to like?
Do you really
if you
just
ask,
you were just waiting your turn?
if you ask, we'll move. But if you want to do it like this, like it's very much like we don't know how to respond to this social situation.
No. Shh. You were here first. No.
Okay. Then they just kind of turn back around, like, all right.
That is what lines are for.
I love the fancy DMV.
While you are standing in line, one of the kind of clerks of the area does come up to you quietly and has a parchment and quill in hand and asks, welcome to the God's Breath River and the God's Hearth. I don't believe I've met you before, Masters.
Yes.
Kind of trailing off to have the introductions, or no introduction. Clearly, this is the kind of posture of someone who, if not given an introduction, will immediately politely move forward.
I'll kind of give a half hand over to Repose to lead the way off, as this is his movement.
No, yeah, this is Law House. You're more of an official than I.
Angler.
It's your
Master
season.
Angler.
Master Angler, he writes down. I hope you have found your stay in our city pleasant so far. May I ask as to your business here today?
Introduction. As my associates and I will be here for a little while, it is only fair that we say hello to local government so that we do not cause undue currents or ripples.
The clerk just nods their head, just sketching it down. It looks like that this is a kind of expected response. Very good. Thank you very much. I just wanted to make sure. I hope you have a good rest of your visit, and I hope you enjoy your stay. Kind of gives you a shallow bow before going back to do the rest of their duties. From there, it's maybe about 15, 20 minutes or so for the rest of the 3 people in line and the person inside to cycle through. It seems like whatever petitions these people in particular are making are either short or immediately shut down. From the faces, it doesn't seem like they're disappointed, so it doesn't seem like it's being like kind of swatted away. It's just whatever is being petitioned is either being, addressed quickly one way or another, or being told, I'll have to get to that later. Once you are led inside, you see a figure at the end of a modestly sized room, sitting in a modestly sized chair behind a modestly sized desk, with a very not modest size of stack of paper next to them, and a smaller one on their other side. You're presuming that this is their in and out folder, as it were. They are currently scribbling at a quite fast speed on a piece of parchment, flicking it aside, scribbling again, flicking it aside, clearly using some manner of, power of the princes of the earth to
That is
go
writing at
through.
dragon speed. That's
Yeah.
not human speed writing.
Yeah, this is supernatural speeds, and from the glimpses of the papers you're getting, it is supernatural speed with absolutely perfect handwriting.
As someone with bureaucracy and linguistics, would I recognize whatever they are using?
They are using River Speak in the appearance that they are currently writing down overviews of projected harvest totals from the rice paddies coming in. It is not fully harvest season yet, but it's the current the status of the crops across the valley, which ones may need more fertilizer or more particular care, general status updates of the farms along the river.
I'm sorry, I should have been more specific. Do I recognize what charm they're using in that one?
Yeah, can we get a sense of how big Steel
Yeah.
Render is based on their raw penmanship?
I'm going to have to double check the linguistics charms to see what I'm thinking of and where that is on the power scale.
Yeah, that's my bad. I should have been more specific. It's like, oh, that is a really interesting information that they're writing down, but I was more referring to the power level that we're looking at right now. Are we looking at like Essence 5 writing? It's like, oh shit, we don't want to mess with this person.
You're
That
not
is some
really going to
incredible
find very
penmanship.
many Essence 5 terrestrials. There's very few of those.
You never
This
know.
is maybe Essence 3 tops. This is someone with a lot of practice and a lot of work. You would not be surprised. Like, again, Essence level is an arbitrary game mechanic. They seem to be about on par with you, maybe a little more.
Okay, thank
On
you.
par with you, but older, therefore a little bit better, probably.
Yeah,
More
that is
refined.
exactly the reason.
Yeah,
Yeah, this
they've
is
had a
your-
long
yeah.
time to refine the skills they have.
They are most certainly older than you. And they kind of look up and nod their head. Greetings. To what do I owe the pleasure of the visit from another set of the princes of the earth? They lay down their quill.
Hello, my name is Angler Spanning All Seas. This is my associate, Absolute Repose. The two of us and a few of our friends are in town looking for a place that we might spend a little time. And as we are unfortunately not ordinary, we thought it would be necessary that we give introductions to you so we do not cause undue currents in your city, province. What's the best term for this here? Province?
Province. Would
Province. For your province.
Propose will very lightly, delicately just toss a small piece of decorative metalwork that is something that's visibly identifiable as being from Bronzeland over there, the late Bronze regime. And it will be allowed to just kind of shake and wiggle and settle down onto the table as dramatically tossed pieces of metal will do. And once it is settled in and Steel has gotten a chance to look at it and recognize what it is, Propose will just very pleasantly chime in, "The axe is dead."
So, the first part of the introduction with Angler was all pleasant smiles and nods and kind of, thank you, like not full responses, but just kind of the, standard introductions of, one set of, dragon blooded to the other, welcome to the province, thank you for letting me know that you're here, and clearly was getting ready to launch into the usual stuff of um, this is our town. These are the places you might want to go. Here's the usual rules. And then the trophy from the bronze axe hits the table, and their eyes lock on it. And even before Repose opens his mouth, the gears are turning, and the eyes flick back up at the statement, and the smile is completely gone from their face into total just stone-faced business mode as they kind of steeple their hands together over the half-done piece of paper and the quill. Is he now?
Ah, yes, terrible business. Terrible misfortune. Of
Read
himself and his
intentions.
entire inner circle. To a beast from beyond. Terrible.
Okay, go ahead and do read intentions on that.
Yeah, so just to
Repose is
absolutely lay
entirely
things on the
just as
table.
serene and cheerful about relaying this news. He vented all of his anger about that on the battlefield, and now it's just like, yeah, that happened.
I take it from your level of serenity. What would the generic term for like your blank be for like your holiness, I guess? I take it from your serenity, your holiness, that you had something to do with cleansing that evil.
It would just be brother.
Yeah. Brother. As for the read intentions, this is a complete stone wall being thrown up to holy fuck, what? They are caught, caught off guard on the back foot, trying to figure out, whoa, what just happened? But they are absolutely not letting that show.
Okay, is this an incredulous as in like the, oh, thank the gods kind of thing, or is it more of the, oh, no, I did not want that to happen right now?
This is more, thank God, but what the fuck?
Okay, fair enough.
It is extremely like, I'm not opposed to this, but I did not see this coming, and this was not on my timetable, and I'm going to have to rearrange a lot of my ideas.
It's a pleasant surprise without it being a pleasant surprise. It is both pleasant and a surprise, but doesn't
Yes.
combine into being a pleasant surprise.
Exactly. Precisely.
Yeah, I know.
This is good news
I'm picking up
for Steel.
Bureaucrat kind of just leans forward again onto, just kind of shaking their head a little bit.
And Repose is just kind of shrugging off the, did you do this? No, it was not. Don't worry about it.
I'm afraid I must trouble you for further details of this account, as this is a rather large development in our section of the 100 Kingdoms. This is one of the ruling, if I must refer to well, I was never taught to speak ill of the dead. Our former ruler has passed away.
Oh, you needn't feel obligated to refer to him as anything. Nothing remains of him or any of his way of life.
There is the desperately repressed attempt at hiding a smile of like bewilderment, of just like a combination of, oh, okay, somebody else gets it, and wow, you're kind of a little too into this. But they just kind of break their composure a little bit at that as well, just kind of rubbing the front of their forehead. You say anathema were involved, an evil was sold. Please go from the beginning with full details as you are willing to give them to me. This seems like something that is important for me to understand in its totality before I make any sort of decision.
If Repose looks over at Angler, just, oh, no, you started this. This is your show.
Oh, there's no looking over it. This is an out-of-character pod. This is loading.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this is fine.
Angler literally just wanted to be here for this moment because he knew exactly what was happening.
Angler, I want to be here to be entertained, but also as a backup valve.
All right, so Repose still remains just in an unbroken flow of being relaxed about this.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose so. Yeah, Repose doesn't casually talk about the ancestral enemy. It's kind of a thing within the family that our ideal state of being would be that we would completely remove all trace of these things, and that no one would even have to have the unpleasantness of knowing that they existed.
Right.
Now, obviously, the current incident has meant that, some of that has been more spoken out in public than usual.
Right.
So that's less than ideal. The Repose is willing to say what has happened and will just not give away any further details he knows about why these things exist from the traditions.
Mm-hmm.
Just elaborate that you can give a general sense of the caliber of the being, and a beast of the underworld, a being of rancid blood, of stillborn life, a mockery of the season.
This is getting
malignance managed to take hold in the hearts of the elite of the Bronzemen. Perhaps was responsible for leading them so far astray as to defile a holiday. And then, all the regular news of you've heard about how they were getting ready to pick some kind of fight.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what they did.
Just a dark cloud of understanding and also just god damn it descends on the Steel Terran bureaucrat's face. I had hoped that such brutality out of his regime was merely the product of his own mind, not the influence of unclean power. Perhaps it was both. I do not know. The attempts I had made for recovering intelligence from the Empire never went particularly cleanly. Too many people were easily identified. Too many people were easily bought. I can't speak to a change in patterns recently, or any sort of matter that would have indicated whether this was a long brewing corruption or a recent development, but as you say, the timing of the attack and the height of the warmth of the water, in the form of such twisted blood, does have an ominous serendipity to it. They drum their fingers on the table, kind of as a reflexive tick, It feels like this is something that they do when thinking or stressed or both. Drumming faster, thinking.
Now, Repose will offer up into that moment of his first slight shift into a more serious tone. This year is haunted. Be on guard, cousin. And Repose will set down one of the polished Lucky Cat figurines that he keeps manufacturing off camera, and follow up, cousin, with neighbor.
Glance to cat, glance to Repose, glance to cat, glance to idle, glance to cat, glance to Repose. I see. That is a heavy mantle of responsibility that you have claimed, cousin. I wish you all the best in bearing its weight. And I would like to get off to our new neighborly relationship with a pleasant start. Frankly, the bar is rather low as to being better than my previous tenant in the neighborhood.
Hello, I'm new boss. Different than old boss, though, so.
May I inquire as to your plans with the region?
Well, and Repose will, politely recoil a bit from that and slide entirely back into pleasant and casual tone. I'd hardly call myself any degree of administrator. Certainly fivefold so, not in the presence of one so clearly capable as yourself.
There's the tiniest flicker of a look of satisfaction on their face at that, but it is immediately tamped down on.
My intent in taking up residence in the Trident Valley would be to offer spiritual guidance and protection to those who reside there for perhaps the following 20, 30 years?
Steel-herring bureaucrat nods at that. That should be more than enough time for the next generation of mortals to internalize the lessons that you give to their parents, yes?
Ideally, one would hope that the All-Mother would see fit to bless their population with another of her seed.
If only her will
better
were
guide
so
them.
easy to define and call down.
But barring that, I will. Suffice to say, it is in the traditions of my own forebearers to offer protection to orphaned peoples.
A noble calling. That actually gets a kind of look of slightly impressed interest on their face of just like, oh. Well, I certainly appreciate the introduction, and I do, again, wish you quite well with the large challenge that you have adopted onto yourself.
You'll be fine.
As a neighbor, if there is anything that I can do to assist you in the rebuilding of whatever happened in the valley, goodness knows if there was a conflict that ended in his death and the involvement of anathema, there may be requirements of a rebuilding project, and I could certainly redirect some resources on your behalf on that matter. Consider it a token of goodwill from a new neighbor.
Oh, you are too kind. In keeping with my aspect, I have made of myself some caliber of architect. Though it is the way of designs to, at times, stray beyond one's means. I feel we will have much to discuss. I feel we will have much to discuss in the coming seasons.
They smile at that. I think our elements will work together quite well in harmony, with vision and design. There is a kind of very light flicker of air across the top of the table. That gesture, like, it's a gesture that would be like flicking the paper to one side to put it into the stack, except that they don't move at all. The air does it for them.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's high level bureaucracy.
Oh, they seem nice.
They do look back to Angler. Now, I do have to ask, I presume that you are Brother Repose's hearthmate?
Sure.
That actually kind of gets a chuckle, kind of a reserved chuckle out of him. And I presume the rest of you were involved in dealing with this anathema.
We had some help from many, but yes.
That gets an eyebrow raised. For many? Who would that be?
The elements themselves decided to help a little bit. Spirit of dampness, friends.
raised eyebrows. Sand and Clouds got involved with a military conflict? That's unprecedented, frankly.
I mean, you can mention that it happened on Dampness.
That is the thing I could say. Yes, I know.
Good.
But that would be
But-
playing further of the hand.
What hand? He's gonna find out like tomorrow.
It still requires a flex of making them go into then finding the effort, but But they just kind of wave a hand. Well, regardless, any friend of the neighbors is a friend of mine. And if there's anything I can do to help you or your sworn, then just let me know.
Actually, look, and then taking a glance at the pile of paperwork. If we are to be here for a few days, it might be something that I can help you with. I am a little skilled in these arts. Perhaps you might need a second set of hands.
I prefer to do most of my work myself. I could appreciate someone to do some of the filing, I suppose. I would appreciate that, actually. Just kind of that reflexive dismissal of, oh no, wait, hang on. You're the first person to say that in a very long time that could actually live up to my expectation. I'm gonna say yes on that, just because.
Absolutely. I will see you first thing tomorrow then.
I look forward to it. If there is nothing else I can help you with, I bid you both a pleasant stay. And if I may, I would suggest, I can't think of a bar name off the top of my head, but there would be a parlor, specifically, a tea parlor, where gambling...
Coincidentally, where a gambling crew is right now.
The Lily's Pond.
What?
The Lily's Pond.
Yes. I would suggest the Lily's Pond if you're looking for entertainment. Most of our populace goes there to observe games of chance and skill.
The bog.
No, not the bog.
Meanwhile...
At that exact spot, at that exact bat channel.
Yeah, at that exact back channel, Yang
Definitely.
kicks open the sliding, not sliding, saloonish doors to the tea house, still literally holding Milan over his head. Just like,
I'm here from the Jong.
I heard this is where the Zhang is. And everybody in the room just kind of turns around and looks like, what the fuck? Look at you, look at your clothes, look at you holding a person over your head, look at the iconography on the person over your head's clothing. Dragon Bloods. Cool. Okay. Don't ask questions. Just let them in. You are...
Jong.
I really don't know. Okay.
Jong.
In the corner of the room, surrounded by 3 other players, is one giant wearing a cloak. That over there is 9 gates through the abyss, the abyssal of Mahjong. Dare you encounter him?
Dare you face him? God damn.
I find a table with 2 empty seats, and mostly empty people. I just kind of slam the wand down and go, "Okay, you're gonna learn today."
Okay.
All right, check this out. Here's tiles. You see? I'm gonna start just throwing them on the floor in front of you. This one's green. This one's blue. This one's red. This one's yellow.
Why is there a blue? Are the
a pair of older women approach the table. No, he might benefit from a little bit of a slower touch. I presume that you're trying to teach your friend the game of tiles?
Yes.
They both smile very widely and sit down. We would be glad to help a new player.
All right, so what are we doing? We're doing
You're about
100
to
Island
leave the
style, or are we
fuck
doing
out.
local? Are we doing Input Scarlet style? What rules you got in here?
3 dragon tiles.
Basically, it is the standard version of Mahjong in creation, as it has been established, or so much as in a quantum state of we're still figuring it out. The one thing that does stand out to you is this far out, the tiles have full-on iconography on them. These 3 suits are 3 different forms of spirit court that are in immaculate texts and fables as spirits that the dragons tamed and taught to, benefit humanity rather than being wild, untamed, self-serving gods or elementals. So this is one of those old antique mahjong sets that would not be seen in the Blessed Isle because the Immaculates would be really uptight about it. But out here, it's obviously like, look, this is just a tradition out here. We're not bothering with this, okay? It's just a game.
Huh, neat.
So yeah, like this is probably the first time Yang has actually seen like a really old, kind of heretical tile set.
Yeah, like I'm probably actually just legitimately interested in like, what the fuck are these? Asking.
Oh, if you
You play with
know
flowers and seasons. Gross.
My father played with the flowers and seasons.
Well, your ancestors are fucking idiots.
Your son's a moron.
Yeah,
They
just
play
kinda
with the
point-
planets tiles. It's weird.
Hi there,
Yeah.
everyone. There are mahjong memes. I just want you to know that.
There are. Yeah, no, but they point out these are the suits that you're actually used to. This is what we use here. These are what Here's the dragon tiles. We do use the sun and moon instead of the seasons. Things like that.
This is the cheeky set.
Yes. But roll me. Oh god, what would a good roll be for playing a game?
Yeah,
Larceny.
how do we roll this?
Larceny.
Larceny to cheat is the thing.
I don't want to cheat. These people are nice so far, and I'm not here. I'm here just because I actually want
All
to,
right, this
slam
would be
John
about-
knowledge.
Pitch how you are going about playing this. What
what-
angle is most important to how Yang plays the
I would
game?
like to think I'm a Kagi, but I am not a Kagi.
You are trying to be a cop.
You're
Are you
fake
trying
Kagi.
Are you more trying to read and manipulate your opponents? Probably throw a social skill at them. Are you just doing raw numbers and strategy? Throw in like war or lore.
Like, are you trying to
Brain.
screw around, or like are you trying to mess with the other players? Are you trying to play a strategy? Are you fucking around to see what happens?
Do you
fucking
have-
around- I
do you
am
have-
pretending to fuck around and find out, but in fact, I am actually playing mahjong, and I'm pretending like I know less than I do. I'm sandbagging a little.
Final candidate for talking about how to arbitrate this. Do you have a head-ass over-dramatic metaphor to describe the state of the game and how you're reacting to it? Use that to justify throwing any fucking skill to explain
Yeah, no,
how
that
actually
is a-
mahjong is like riding a horse.
I will accept that as any.
Okay, so
fiat for-
here's what's happening. So how old are these two ladies they're teaching us?
They're about like in their like 50s or 60s.
Okay, so some nice old ladies, I'm gonna say, like, because the gang's tiny, so whatever.
When it comes to mahjong,
So, like,
there's
so
no
I'm
such thing as
gonna-
an
I'm
old-ass
gonna-
lady.
I'm gonna play up like
In narrative, they can't tell whether or not you're older than them because all Dragon Blood look like they're about 20 something until they're several hundred years old. But they are actually both older than both of you because you are babies.
I am
So
going
they're
to
treating
treat
you
them
with
like I'm
deference.
actually
Yeah.
20 and
They're
I'm still
treating-
like,
They're treating you with deference, but they are actually older than you.
that's fine. They're like, they're probably treating me like a really regal nephew then at that point.
Yes. Yes.
That's fine. So at this point, I'm gonna be like, just kind of pretending to be swept up in their emotion, like, oh, okay, thanks. This is so easy to understand. While I'm actually building up a really fucked up Hanuman in the background.
All right, that would be manipulation larceny. Of kind of sleight of handing to make sure that they don't notice your discards
Yeah.
and like making sure that you're just kind of chit-chatting nicely and distracting from your actual strategy on the game
Yeah,
stage.
when I draw
Doing-
tiles, I'm feeling them to be like, oh, this is what I want. And if it's not what I want, I will very stupidly and like amateurishly show everyone.
Actually,
Yeah.
larceny is a better skill, but I forget, is manipulation
Performance?
a primary stat?
Yes.
Yes.
It
Would this
could
not
be
be manipulation socialized to try and throw them off with your words?
It could be manipulation socialized or manipulation performance.
Manipulation performance then.
Yes, performance, yeah.
This would be performance because you are acting a role.
Milan is doing everyone's first game of Mahjong and just
Calling everything.
Boom. Boom.
okay,
Give me
yes,
your tiles.
I'm going to roll intelligence war, but I'm going to remove one dice.
Good, okay. -1 stunt. You could get a willpower for taking a -1 stunt willingly.
Beginner's luck is always so real.
So, you how do I describe this? Because okay,
I
let's
mean, it
see
looks
how
like a 7-Han hand. Looking at it,
that
with
is a
the
7-Han hand.
successes.
I'm just thinking of. I also have to roll to see how.
Are you really gonna beat me by
No,
accident?
this is what happens. You pwn the dragons and go, "Is that good?" And then somebody cons and it turns your dragons into doors.
That's exactly what happens. What happens is one of the old ladies is discarding the dragon tiles and is explaining why that's usually a safe discard early in the game, and then you're like, "Wait, I can steal that." Boom.
On?
And then
Milan started
Jenny-
with 2 pairs of dragons.
Yeah, and then I do the cool
so
one
you have
finger
2 pairs
flip.
of dragons, grab one of them, and it's like, "That's good, right?" And they're like, "Well, okay, you can win now." And then, Yang cons, flips over a tile, it's another one of the dragons, both old ladies just pull a face, and Milan's just like, "What?"
Is that... Why was
Is that good?
Unironically, is that good?
I immediately drop the sweet boy. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I can go like, you rat fuck. You've played this before.
You got
Milan would just be like,
played
"What?"
this before.
What?
So like, the
I'm
old
now
ladies,
smoking a cigarette and looking very grizzled. All right, you want to play like that?
I always ducked out when my friends
Yang
wanted to
just
do
got
Mahjong
twice as
night.
angular and
at the
pointy. He's
academy.
being drawn with the
that
very
the
heavy
shading
lines.
intensifies on your chin. But yeah,
God damn
no,
it,
like.
Milan, is that Chi Toy?
Yeah, like it's open full flush 2 Dora dragons. It's like some stupid crazy shit happens in Milan's first hand out of pure dumb luck.
Well, technically, you can't have a full flush and dragons.
Yeah, right. But like some crazy
Half-flush.
number of Han, like 7 or more, happens.
Yeah.
And Yang just drops the act and immediately goes into trying to play to win. And that would be Milan roll again with war or bureaucracy. You can try picking both. And that you have a kind of idea what you're doing. Still at -1.
I'm gonna Bradway, and I'm gonna sandbag and not use bureaucracy just yet.
Okay.
I haven't
So
figured
okay,
out.
then then you can you can get rid of the -1 penalty. Just roll war again.
Okay.
Sana,
Yeah.
if you want to keep up the performance angle and keep bamboozling, you can roll that again, or you can switch to larceny and just try cheating.
I'm just gonna start. No, not yet.
Okay, Milan.
God, please body me in your first game. Holy shit.
It's always so real.
This is
Beginner's
how
luck
it
is too
always
real.
works. Yeah, no, like,
This is how it fucking happens.
I'm gonna grift my friend, huh? I'm gonna teach my little brother how to play.
I'm gonna
Mahjong.
hustle him so bad.
Oh no, I just got
my blood. So yeah, you are just chit chatting, explaining the rules, explaining the Yaku, and then you do a safe discard, and then it's just run. What? Run.
What do you mean, Ron?
Oh, did
And
I
then
look
I
at the old
pronounce
lady
that
and be
right?
like,
and then you
you
just
keep
get
doing
over
wanna
the
say
tiles,
that?
and the old ladies are looking at the tiles and look back to you just like, "Man, okay."
I just assembled sets of 3. That's what I'm
That
supposed to do,
that
right?
is the game of Mahjong.
I just made sets of 3. Is that not what I'm supposed to do?
They're just kind of like, like they're clearly like, okay. Like, and again, because of how this is being played out, Yang is the one losing points constantly. The old ladies are about neutral.
Yang has got the side deck posture going on right now. Like, this is not how my night was supposed to shake out.
What is old man rolling for?
After Milan puts down a clack of a tile, you hear another clack behind you.
All right, hang on.
The clack is of old man's Geta on the floor.
Okay, I was thinking that he was playing a game, and if that was the case, it would have gone to exhaustive draw. But no.
When the fuck did you get here?
How would old man gamble? What does old man have to bet?
Nothing.
Just puts a handful of dirt on the table.
Skin folds.
I will play with a 1,000 point handicap. I will be at 1,000 points. Everyone else play at 38,000. 30. It'd be plus 8,000 for each, so 33,000.
That's insane. You're never gonna win those odds. You know that, right? It says Yang just
I
head on the
fold.
floor.
I can reach you once.
I fold.
You can't fall.
The old women are clearly.
I fold, says Milan, flipping over his tile, showing that he has
So he
completed
gets a winning
that
hand
draw.
again.
Yeah, he's
He
wrong
gets
by
bonus.
accident by saying he folds.
He got chosen of the heavens.
No, I mean, okay, I guess you do fold because you won, but
The old women at this point are actually just laughing
That's
uncontrollably.
Look at this hand; it's really bad.
I
You
mean,
are
I
try-
definitely,
All right.
definitely explain to the
All
old
right,
ladies that,
okay,
like, I was trying
The
to...
strongest possible form of that. Milan just, oh, I'm sorry, this one's a draw. I got too many terminals, and he just puts down the orphans.
Oh my god, yes, that's exactly what happens, and the old ladies just immediately lose it laughing as you are beginning to attract a crowd.
Hi everyone, welcome to Mahjong Jokes. This is the part of quarantine that we're at.
Look, if any of you don't find this funny, that's your own damn fault. I've run this game for months now. You can take a half hour of obscure jokes.
Old man sits at the table.
Accurate.
Yang looks very gaunt.
You have
But-
no idea how to crush the luck of a beginner.
And there's no way to do it on purpose, you weirdo. It's a fucking...
Oh, ho, ho. You're a digital player, aren't you?
A what? A what?
Let me
What?
introduce you to occult mahjong.
The old lady's eyebrows just go way the hell up, and they stand up from the table because they no longer want anything to do with this.
Real terms,
thanks.
by the way.
Thanks, ma'ams.
Those are real terms, by the way.
They wish you luck.
thank you.
They did not sign up for Wizard Mahjong.
Yeah, the second the words Wizard Mahjong came out of the obviously a sorcerer's mouth, they're like, I'm finding another table, thank you.
Nope, don't want to keep my blood in me today.
Welcome to
Have
the
a nice
Shadow
time.
Game.
We need
Those
a-
two,
we need
those
a
two
fourth.
boys were
Someone go-
nice.
We need a fourth.
Yeah.
Someone go.
No,
for someone.
they genuinely wish you well. But you could either find a fourth from the crowd or try a 3-player Mahjong, the totally
No.
real version of Mahjong that doesn't suck.
No.
3 players is actually fine. It's actually really weird, and like it's a fresh new way to play after you've played 4-player for like 30 hours.
Okay, so you would let us roll.
Is there like a pinball wizard hot shot?
I am rolling a
legend?
chance. I am rolling a luck die to see what is. Oh dear.
We got a
There-
sucker, is what you're saying.
You have a very drunk sucker come up to the table like, yeah, I'll do it.
Well, you see, I don't have anything to bet on this game, but I do have plenty of knowledge. I will take this enormous handicap. Old man gestures at taking a single Rigi stick, and that's it. And putting the betting sticks everyone else. Like, the rest are yours.
Yeah, no, I can beat you with both hands tied behind my back. I'll play the tiles with my mouth.
Don't do that, sir.
Wait,
Yeah, you can't stop me.
we're gambling with money?
Oh,
Mahjong,
right.
If you're not playing for money, then you're not playing Mahjong. What's the point?
Oh. Okay.
To Milan basically hadn't noticed there was money involved because the silver amounts are so small. Anyway,
I thought that was the tip for the waitress when she brings her drinks.
one second while I change music on the excellence of the gesture of my friend Nixel. What?
If you put Mahjong Soul music down, I will end
Oh
you.
no. Another kind of Mahjong music.
Can we get the ambient noise music from any of the Yakuza games?
Don't have those on hand, but
Just the sound of Parlor.
anyway.
All right.
So you have Old Man, Yang, Milan, and Sucker.
I will draw the east tile to determine who goes first.
All right. So this is solidly in territory of make up the role you want to use as your abstruse metaphor for playing Mahjong and then go in on it.
There are two terms that people use of digital versus occult mahjong. Digital is actually playing towards statistics and probability. Occult mahjong is when the flow of the game is going in your favor.
Wait, hang on. They actually have a
so
fucking term
instinctual
for arbitrary
mahjong
cards?
versus.
That's what the term is for, yes. When I
Okay.
said occult mahjong, I meant that. That was a real thing.
Holy shit. Okay, yeah, no, you can just roll fucking intercult with a 2-dice stunt.
Manipulation occults, please.
Manipulation occult with a 2-dice
They're
stunt.
the same number, but in this
No,
case...
no, it's
please.
important. It's important.
Mhm.
At the moment,
I'm
the
going to
walls
add
are
an extra
assembled.
success with
The
my
outcome
free
is
success.
already decided.
Okay.
That is a 10 successes hand.
As in all things, fate has dictated the course of the game.
I am going to actually try cheating.
Okay, go
A lot of
ahead.
playing straight faced. Still don't quite get the game.
How do I cheat against Old Man? I'm gonna do the caterpillar.
Ah, I see.
I'm gonna grab the dead wall and move it because okay, I know where all the door indicators are because I actually marked a tile in previous as an escape clause in case someone kicked my ass 5 games in a row. Then I would cheat to rookie stop. Now I'm cheating against Old Man, so I'm gonna caterpillar around so I know what the doors are. I'm gonna try drawing those on purpose. So I guess manipulation, dexterity to try and do that.
Okay, yeah, 2-dice stunt on that.
Let's see. 5 and then 4. So
I do have to ask up
11.
front, is Blessing of Heaven an instant win the entire game? I don't care what the points
Tenho
are.
is instant win for the hand. It's an immediate Yakuman. If it's dealer Yakuman, that means that it is a sumo for 48,000 points.
Yeah, Blessing
Okay.
of Heaven is the dealer draws the dealer's opening hand is a winning hand.
Yeah, and it is a sumo, which means that everyone equally loses 16,000 points, which means it actually will never immediately end the game.
Blessing
Yeah.
of Man is a sumo when you're not the dealer.
Okay,
No,
so
that's
what
Blessing
happens?
Of Earth. Blessing of Man is when you it's when you win on someone's first discard.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so what I'm saying is out of sheer humorousness, Old Man gets Blessing of Heaven on the first draw. Specifically, Old Man gets the Blessing of Heaven.
you
And
cheated.
Does
says the
Old
cheater.
Man accept the blessing of heaven?
He's not going to. Or hold on.
Do
This
you
old
want
man
a
Chumbo.
gift from fate?
No, Old Man does not. No, declining to win is not a chumbo.
Do you accept
I
Heaven
have
giving?
a better way to win this
Okay.
than just getting dealt the Tenho. So Old Man, upon being prompted with the ability to win immediately this hand and become 49,000 points in the lead over everyone else's
9.
9,000 at that point or whatever, right? He actually declines it and declares double Riichi instead.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
That would put you in furry 10 though, right?
Yes. Now here's the thing, though. As the game goes along with the 10 successes, he declares the double Riichi anyway, and it turns out in the rule set that is used over here, they have the local Yaku, the local Yakuman, of when you Haite draw the final tile you need after you double Riichi. That is also a Yakuman.
Yeah, so
And that's what happens with Old Man as he
Let's throw
draws
out some-
another one of those tiles at the very
Let-
last, as the last draw.
let's throw out some explanations here. Double reaching is when you Riichi on your first turn. It is just drawing into one tile away from winning. The Yakuman that Doc is talking about is when you double Riichi at the start of the game and then don't pull your winning tile for the entire game, and then pull your winning tile from the final draw of the game.
The last second possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you deny the Blessing of Heaven until the last possible second that you can win, and then you get it.
Yes, he had to draw it because he actually could not win it off of anyone else's discard.
Which, the sucker is way too drunk and not good at this to understand this. Milan is still learning this, Yang
Yang
realizes
looks like he
what
had his
happened.
soul just ripped out.
Yang understands exactly what just happened.
Because, like, when you realize how that works, that does mean that the very first discard he made was the tile he just drew as the last tile.
Without speaking, I just get up and leave the parlor.
The demons of Mahjong. They have always been
I'll be
ready.
open. I'm having a real hard time not having this get one of their attention. I've had too many demons lately, but you just come on.
That was a 10 successes off of
There
There
are
was
gods
10
of
successes
gambling.
on a gambling roll that did involve denying the blessing of heaven.
Do the spirits of gambling suddenly have a very vested interest in this horrible wizard card man?
All right, so how much money do you even want the money?
Oh, I want the money. I'll just toss it in a ditch somewhere.
All right. Just slide the chips he won for me.
All right.
Yango's
Continue.
finds a nice alleyway to smoke and just sort of think about what the fuck he's doing with his life.
Could someone please sub in for our departed fourth layer? The dearly departed.
You bitch.
Aaron,
Fuck it.
I kind of want one of the demons to show up in the empty chair.
Fuck it. Fine. You literally asked for this. A pale person who doesn't quite seem like they fit in the region approaches the table with a box in their hand and sets it in their lap as they sit down at the table. I heard there was an open seat.
9 gates through the abyss. It's been a long time.
There's a blink at that. I believe you have the wrong name. And I don't believe we've actually met.
Perhaps. Well, it
There's
seems
a-
like you're south today. Is this comfortable?
I can work with this, yes.
You're going.
we-
You're
Hmm?
going into the. You're taking their place at. Hold on a second. I have to do math really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Can't believe you're actually calculating how many points they
17,000
had.
points.
Okay. The figure just nods. Yeah, this is acceptable. What are the stakes of this game?
Well, not that much, it seems like, but they could be more. Are you interested?
I'm always interested in a higher stakes game.
Old man looks at Milan. Do we have some consent?
Yeah, sure.
Old man looks at the
He's
very
already
front.
nodding. He doesn't know what's going on. He's nodding.
All right. Then let's raise the stakes. What do you propose?
What the fuck is happening?
The figure taps the top of the box while thinking. Puts the hand in the chin.
How pointy is this chin?
Very.
Oh, you're fucked.
Should you win, I will give you insight onto one of your goals as to transcending the nature that you currently have. Should I win, I will ensure that you will never be able to.
Hey, what the fuck?
Well, I didn't have much to enter this game. Why not? Let's take a shortcut for once.
Meanwhile, Raposa's teeth itch. All right. Cracks knuckles.
As a player, I will not interrupt this scene unless the decisive moment should arrive.
Okay. I'm going to say, narratively speaking, well, no, it's more interesting if Milan and the chump roll anyway.
Yep.
The two of you have a panic button to press if things go most wrong.
Fine.
Mostly Milan has the button to press. Old man doesn't have a supernatural connection
Mm-hmm.
to unconsciously hook into.
It pulls into the box and pulls out a single green Ricci stick and puts it on the table. Let us begin.
Old man spontaneously at this very second spends experience to get a specialty in occult for gambling.
All right. So,
Old
let the
man
game-
spends a point of experience to get gamble vision.
Now,
he can see the gambling.
before I begin, how many points did I lose in that last round? Like, are
You
you,
lost 16,000.
which
I
puts
think
me at how
you are
much?
17,000.
You're at 17,000 now.
Is that a low number of points?
No.
That is low-ish, but not super dangerous.
It's workable, right? It shoestring-ish, right?
Yeah.
I can run on a shoestring budget.
Yes, you can. You're working with a kind of shoestring of points, but you're used to that.
Now this is a game all about just drawing the right tiles you need. All the information is here in front of me. It's just sorting through it all.
Sorting through it, seeing what's been done. There is hidden information, but there is also visible information and inferences from that.
Yeah, and
Something that is not unusual.
Everything they give up is information they give to me. But also I give it, this is just like work.
Yep.
By God, it's all business.
All right. That'll be bureaucracy with the 2 dice stunt.
All right, I'm assembling my pool.
Turning off side stream music, turning on Daizawazawa.
You know what? Hang on. I should just do. Well, DMCA.
Maintain the barriers.
Yeah.
Man, if you got DMCA for that,
Don't take the risk.
I know.
It's not a
I'd be
video
mad.
game. I ain't risking it.
Yeah.
If anyone else would like to listen along at home, feel free to open that up. Not from here, though.
I will feel free to just pause the music right now so you can enjoy. Go look that up yourself if you are watching this on YouTube.
Ominous.
All right, well, we gonna play or what?
Well, I was waiting for
Yep.
the pools to be assembled for both of you first.
My pool is
Oh.
assembled.
Mhm.
My pool will be the same plus an additional die, I guess.
Yep, 1 die stunt.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, then.
Ready when you are.
Ready.
Oi, oi.
Damn, no sixes.
You tie with the demon, Milan.
Is that
I'm going to
good?
spend a willpower. I would like that 13th success.
All right. As the match goes on, it becomes abundantly clear to Old Man that this is not fucking around. This is not something that is a light-hearted game. This is not a game where you feel in your bones that if you even thought of cheating, your bones would light on fire.
Oh, he would never
Something
think
has
of it.
been put on this game as a supernaturally enforced edict.
Mhm.
Milan feels it too. And the unfortunate thing is, in the first set of hands, in the first couple of rounds, the entity at this table with the box crushes Old Man, specifically, bypassing a higher scoring hand, specifically to targetedly play against Old Man and chip his points away, and slowly rob away while keeping the dealership. It is genuinely looking like there is just no way to outplay whatever entity this is, because they are just able to. It's a combination of a heart of the tiles kind of feeling, and no, they just literally know the optimal strategy for literally every hand that they are being dealt. It is a slow, meticulous bullying, is what you are witnessing. And then you get an idea. It's not paying attention to you at all. It's focused entirely on Old Man. It's not caring about you when it's discarding things. You start to see a pattern in its discards in one round, and reform your hand around it. And right as it is discarding a tile, you call run. And you assemble a Yakuman hand, and blow away its lead completely. And at the end of South 4, you are ahead by enough points that Old Man and the Demon are tied, and you win.
I have to ask at this point, Darren, have you ever actually watched Akagi?
I've watched some of it, yes.
Okay.
Old Man,
Well,
believe it or not, despite losing through most of that round and having like his entire life's work on edge the entire time, he's still smiling at the game, and upon this situation here, it gives him an even toothier, dumber smile. I'm sorry, but that's the rule set out here. Doesn't pay attention to turn order. We can have 2/3.
a fascinating development. The figure kind of slowly, kind of puppeteeredly picks up the green Ricci stick, holds it up, looking at it. I suppose the terms were specifically if you lost and I won.
Unfortunately, we both lost, didn't we?
I suppose we did. It opens the box and puts it back in. By those terms, I would have to be able to tell you a secret towards your enlightenment, but then also remove your ability to do so, which would be an unpleasant snarling of rules. It looks over to Milan. You're the winner. What would you suppose?
Suppose
There
I'd
is
see.
a very fixed gaze directly into your eyes.
I suppose I'll be seeing the two of you tomorrow morning for breakfast, bright and early. I'll be making waffles.
A head tilt.
Is this his demand?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm afraid that I can't follow that agreement. I have a very limited time in my presence here. The alignment of this game that allowed my presence here to fill the gap is about to close.
I'll leave a doggy bag for you.
I appreciate the gesture, though I have no need. There's a brief look that breaks the complete impassivity over the kind of puppet entity's face. I believe I understand. It leans into you across the table and whispers something in your ear in a language that makes your ear hurt, and your head ache and your brain itch.
Is that good?
It leans back. The deed is done. The secret has been transmitted, but not to the correct party. I wish you luck in figuring it out.
Oh, my head.
Bows its head, picks up the box, leaves the bar.
And then, as it stands and turns around, a go board is smashed corner first directly into its skull.
Here it comes.
Yep, as it does that, as you do that, it literally just evaporates into green smoke. You may roll an occult roll to know in character what you just smashed a thing over.
With a 4.
Sigareth, the player of games, second circle demon. Occasionally loosed from their bindings by the attraction of strange confluence of fate in a game, someone wagering all or nothing on wagering their life on a throw of the dice, other sort of majorly dramatic or unexpected swerves in gambling can briefly allow it to escape Malpheus. And it, as Old Man and Milan saw, although Milan may not have fully understood, can allow people to wager anything on anything. And can allow its full power involves it allowing to actually turn an entire game into a full-sized, materialized the chess battle from that one World of Warcraft raid. That it can do that, but with any game.
It is the Pharaoh. It does the Shadow Games.
Yes. For this, this was maybe the most remarkably reserved manifestation you've ever seen it. But you can also take a guess it's because it had so little time and was just kind of like, what the? Oh, well, okay. It was more here out of curiosity as to what the hell just brought me out here. And as soon as it was done, it was no longer interested and vanished. Oddly enough, as Repose is looking around, nobody else seems to have recognized that something supernatural just went down. There's either deliberate willfulness or an active, yanking out of the brains of there was a demon here and people just didn't get to see it.
As these things do.
You can also start the music back up whenever you need.
Yep, I was just switching back over. Also, the figure that the Go board was smashed on was not Sigareth. That was one of Sigareth's game pieces. Sigareth is the box.
Did you just fight Jumanji?
Yes! You summoned Jumanji. I literally said there is a literal demon of Mahjong in this game, and you kept saying, bring it in, and I was like, fucking fine, okay, you asked for it.
And I beat it Mahjong.
And you fucking beat it legitimately by the dice.
Oh, I'm making you all waffles tomorrow morning. Even you, old man.
Alright, you'll be doing it
to eat them.
while recovering from your very important brotherly intervention thrashing. No, the board smash into the piece going away just flows directly into seizing hold of Milan and dragging him outside.
Not Old Man, Milan.
Yeah, because he expects this out of Old Man.
Old Man is
The
not
drunk
part
man
of the
looks
family.
over to Old Man. Hey, you mind if I just take their money?
I'll go for it.
Angler sits down at the table and stares at the drunk.
He's in the middle of scooping the money in his direction. Beat it, the game's over. This is mine now.
I spin his hand down to the table and says,
Old man
and say,
puts a
"Would you
hand
like to
on
try
it.
that?"
Old man pins his own hand onto Angler's hand. Just let him take it. It's not like it cuts into into any of their bottom lines.
Fine. And I release.
Now, brother, I had no idea what was going on.
Repose. Milan smells very, very faintly like doom.
Yeah, you're raising these oppositions through a pummeling.
You are being
The other scene that people have been trained to just kind of act like it's not
look
there.
at.
Someone getting beaten up in the back alley next to the gambling parlor
Yep, especially if it's Dragon Blood.
is occurring.
Yeah, after about a minute of this, what do I need to fix?
Well, propose we'll want to get the full series of events of what has unfolded.
It would become immediately apparent to Repose that the sheer conflux of bullshit that happened in the opening series of Hands was just a tiny enough crack for the demon whose purview is gambling to look in like, what the hell just happened? And then notice that there was an empty seat at a gambling table, which Yang left behind. So honestly, it's all three of their faults, or nobody's fault, depending on the definition.
Yang just stormed out after some hand.
No, he did not have enough soul juice left to storm.
That was a
Salt.
sulk out.
He just kind of slid frictionlessly out the door.
Tsuchinoko style.
T-posing the whole way.
And then this person with a box showed up, wanted to play, and they seemed like they knew each other. Well, old man Sifu seemed like he knew him, and I was just still learning the game.
For what it's worth, that was a case of mistaken identity.
So
That's
you're
not the
getting
demon
your
mahjong that I have.
Like you're getting back just a very serious look of each step of the way, weighing down heavier on you. Oh, just a mysterious stranger suddenly appeared at a moment of tension and seemed to be on good terms with a wizard. None of this is making it sound better. Is it help?
Okay, I deserve that. I deserve that.
Everything you're offering up an explanation just makes you sound dumber. Dumber.
This is happening in
What's
the
going on?
alleyway,
Yes,
right?
you fucking.
Yeah, no, you
did.
can see you're on a roof above this smoking and watching.
I'm in my Yucky Man outfit because I was about to go fix my pride by doing a side quest, and I see this happening. I'm just gonna squat on the roof and look down and say, "No, this is my bad. I got him there in the first. He wasn't supposed to even be at the parlor."
Is it bad that I won?
No, that's not the problem. The problem
That was a question to
in character.
in character
Repose,
question
probably.
to Repose.
is it bad that he won?
No, actually, it's fantastic that you won, especially because you didn't bet anything.
Well, propose will want an explanation of the terms that you were playing over.
I had these chips of money, and old man was betting that his goal thing for information on how to achieve said. You know his
Old man gambled with a demon willfully.
Yeah, that sounds like him.
And I had chips on the table.
And he does what he do.
I like how Repose can't even get mad at that one of just like the ultimate line has been crossed in the hearth, but it was old man. Yeah, all right.
Okay, listen. Old man will pop out at this point because, vaguely interested in what's going on. And upon like, for what it's worth, that was a case of mistaken identity. I thought that was a different demon I was gambling with.
They wear many faces and have wield many pieces.
The difference, Milan, is that I knew what I was getting into, and I know that the harm that would have come about it would only have come to me. You acquiesced, which, admittedly, a little bit my fault for not telling you.
Like the proper
And-
response is, which admittedly was really funny.
Yeah, yeah.
My entire
And
plan was to go school.
My dear scholarly gentleman brother, when mortals overextend themselves and arrive in peril, and she's getting in very close here, and like just the perfect combination of his voice is getting quieter, but he is closing in on you so that it stays very constant loudness. It is our sacred duty as creation's chosen heroes to rescue them from their mistakes.
And I won, thus nullifying their bargain.
Milan feels a head bump against his hand against the ground. Moat is there,
Moat
rubbing
is
his
there.
head. Moat is rubbing his head against Milan.
You didn't know you were doing though. You didn't realize that can only fly, buddy. No, I can't. I also bumble into helping people all the time. Fair enough. We should ban old man.
I
from
had a
Mahjong.
responsibility to win that game.
Oh, I've
Didn't I?
been banned from playing Mahjong.
So why did you come down here?
Well, I mean, they play with a different rule set. I'm banned from playing most rule sets. Remember I mentioned that I thought it was a different demon I was gambling with?
As a soldier of the world, you must find victory before you enter battle.
Moat very
So, like,
gently.
also background stuff for thinking about Repose having none war and having now finally bought into some more. Repose has read the 1,000 Correct Actions, but was only previously interested in like the philosophy of what it means to be a soldier part of it, and just kind of had his eyes glaze over whenever it got into the gears and grit
Tactics.
of how to do fights.
Mhm.
And now he's finally bothering to acknowledge the rest of the book. And also incorporate that alongside his other priestly rhetoric. Oh yeah, that is generally useful. How win fight good, yeah.
Yang's old man's explaining to Yang, pointing at his the lever spots on his head. These are actually each one of them a representation of a gesh. I'm not allowed to play Mahjong under this number of rule sets. I do keep on losing to that demon.
Why do you keep fighting?
A different demon, not that one.
Moat
Stop.
gives what can only be described as a surly look towards old man.
There are as many rule sets for Mahjong as there are, blades of grass on the ground. It's not like I'm going to run out forever.
Moat turns their attention back over to Milan before gently reaching out a paw and not so much swatting at, so much as patting the ear that Sigareth whispered into. Just kind of curiously poking at it. Moat smells very faint doom. Not
And yeah, after he won, because old man lost, but he didn't lose to him. He said something in my ear, and now my brain hurts.
Oh right. Do something about that.
Hang on a sec. Demon whispering in your ear, brain hurts. Let me think this through, and I'm gonna roll Wits Occult.
You went to wizard school, where the core thing they make sure
Yeah.
to teach every wizard is how to properly handle demons. Yeah, Milan, go ahead and have a think yourself about that.
All right.
Did you ever learn Old Realm?
I didn't learn Old Realm.
You don't know what it said.
I could probably repeat it, but
No.
it
With the
gave
five,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, with 5 successes, you're pretty sure you could repeat it exactly, but also you're fairly sure you could repeat it exactly enough to get the message across without triggering any sort of latent fuckery that might have been put in the message.
Okay. Piece of paper.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Repose will intercept the idea of placing this out, though. Do
Huh?
not continue to play their game. The match hasn't ended.
Oh. I see.
Whatever portent or omen they have handed you is their next play. Discard it.
I see.
Banish whatever cursed knowledge to the farthest it has tried to poison you with, to the furthest corner of your mind.
Yang,
Yeah?
can I get something to help with a headache?
Let's see here. I'm just gonna throw you a bottle of tequila. There you go, buddy.
And I just go at it. All right. Let's forget.
All right. You take the bottle and chug, and, well,
That's wrong.
pain. More pain than is in your brain, actually. If anything, it is only by giving you a different kind of similar but painful and more intense burning pain, amplified the pain in your head by making it have a contrast.
That means it's working.
And tonight, Milan is going to sleep too late and pass through morning and thus not make waffles in the morning.
All right.
Thus getting old man out of the bargain.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of further micromanaging of the dialogue here, yes, so Repose's counsel on this is do everything possible to isolate this idea. You know, it is time for you to start thinking like an adult. Dig deep into your dragon brain, get Malus claws, and sink them into this idea and shred it. Repose isn't invested in big lore. He doesn't know how to describe what dragon brain ascended thinking feels like. But you are heir. You can figure this out. You have the innate talent for it.
You have the galaxy brain, use it.
Milan's going to be spending some time in his mind palace tonight.
It is entirely possible that you might be able to get this thing cornered and pin it down and tear some information out of it safely, but under no circumstances underestimate this tiny beast. There is a rat in your brain right now.
Rat.
Sneaking around, trying to...
Finding an entrance.
trying to vermin at you.
Yeah, Milan's
Alright.
going to be doing some mind pals tonight.
Roll me intelligence occult.
Yes. And I'm actually going to spend an excellency on this.
Okay.
While Milan is doing this, Angler is going to be following that drunk later just to make sure nothing bad happens to the person who has all the winnings that are possibly cursed.
Oh, definitely cursed.
All right.
It will not go
roll
unsaid that, you have had the barest brush against a second circle problem. Failing to handle such a situation is how you end up with don'ts.
Yes.
People were
This
wondering,
is a
how
second
could
circle
don't have
demon.
happened? Someone fucked up and opened a hole in the prison, and then they sneak out and cause mischief.
This was about 5 minutes of interaction with the second
no.
circle demon on a vacation, and you have a permanent mark in your brain.
Okay, no. I know how to start this out. I'm going to use Find the Water Steps. That lets me attune my sense to the tides of desire that govern markets and negotiations. Read characters' intentions with perception and bureaucracy. Determine what would entice them to perform a specific action with a bargain roll. I'm specifically, they have placed this seed in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I am targeting this seed. What?
I'll allow it.
What is the trigger that it's wanting?
Okay, go ahead and roll.
6 successes. What does the second circle demon want from me to trigger it?
You can't read Cigarette's intentions. You are only reading the after effects behind. Which are, as you are like meditating and falling asleep and going through this. Repose was right. This is not just words in your ear. This is a first circle demon that's in your head now. It literally talked a first circle demon into your head. It's just kind of hanging out in there now. And it's actually not really going around, rooting around, doing much. It's just kind of sitting there unless you poke at it.
No.
And as you are investigating, it seems direct, like possibly too direct, but also direct in the sort of way that a very simple program might be of, I want to be understood by old man.
Okay, a success also reveals the strongest intimacy related to this. So the intimacy of I want old man to learn this.
Yeah. It would be defining intimacy, old man, desire to transfer or something like that.
All right. So as a fallback, if Milan feels that it is the right course of action, we can probably just figure out how to exorcise this thing from your head and beat it up. If it's a first circle something, it's well within punching range.
Yes.
Just need to figure out how to punch words. Which Repose is able to attack immaterial beings. So yeah, I can punch the shit out of some words.
What I want, the player wants to do is I want to get that information and distort it so much that what I tell old man is completely useless to him.
You would expect nothing less.
You're gonna have to actually fight the demon to do that.
Yes.
Roll willpower.
Current pool or max?
Current pool, specifically. Oh well. 1, 2.
Ew.
Willpower to tie. Or no, I can't spend willpower on this, can I?
No, you cannot.
It's got the upper hand.
You are attempting to construct a way of transferring the information that would not be comprehensible, and then you just feel that part of your brain just get put in a chokehold of like, no. No, if you talk about me, we talk about me the way I dictate. Like, you literally feel your thought process get seized and hijacked.
I see. So if you're attacking my brain...
There is a possible alternative.
Milan, we should go on vacation. Also, Milan, demons enter my skull.
Look, I gave you plenty of warnings and I want to, but I won't. And then you're like, do it.
I know. I'm thinking of what Milan's next move would be.
There is something that you can puzzle out. There would be something that would get this out of your head and nullify the secret and completely neutralize it and get rid of the problem. It would be internalizing it as learning First Circle Demon. Summon First Circle Demon. There may be an asterisk on that.
Now, the sensible thing to do was to reject that and have Repose punch it out of my brain. I want to press the asterisk button.
You wanted to press the shiny red button?
I kind of want... Like, this would make sense that Milan would do. Milan's very much a, okay, how can I bring
How can
this
I turn
out?
this to my...
Yeah.
Because there
How can I
have to
turn
be a
this to my
better way.
advantage? I mean, all Repose said was dig your claws into it and make it surrender and give you information. And hey, it's offering to teach you something.
I activate Air Dragon Stance.
Yeah, no, you basically have it in your clutches of just like, oh fuck, okay, hang on, whoa, let's talk this out.
Nope. I'm going to roll a martial arts attack.
Okay, yeah, sure, I'll let that happen.
You gonna punch your brain?
I'm going to punch with my brain.
Breathe with your whole brain.
I really appreciate that during all of this, Obsidian's just fishing.
Just fishing.
I was intending to get back to Obsidian and then the fucking demon happened.
Fine, this is way better. I had nothing.
Oh, I'm getting my claws into you.
You literally, like, in your mind, take your chakram and slam it down over the Inkohe demon's head to force it into a razored collar, and then twist it inside out and press it in so the blades are squeezing into its neck that you have now defined as a neck. It is now chained, colored, and bleeding in your
Give
brain.
him the flying guillotine.
Yes. You are basically one yank from decapitating it like the flying guillotine. You have it at your at your mercy.
Kill it.
And now I can do whatever I want with that information. And
Yes.
you. Darren, go ahead and send me the information in private text, and I will distort it myself.
All right, one moment, please. Da-da-da.
Also, yeah, like very low on the number of rules of interacting with demons is Hell is Fight Club. Violence
Yep.
is the universal language of Malpheus.
Yep.
Yep, if you beat the shit out of a demon, it will listen to you because that's how they're programmed.
Right of conquest. Like, if you had required Repose to tag in somehow during the game, the idea would be that Repose doesn't prevent it from continuing to play, but is still beating the shit out of it while
The
it is
whole
sitting there
time.
at the table.
Yep.
Just occasionally looking down at the pile on the floor. They discarded a 5 of dots. Do you need a 5 of dots?
Chi.
Occasionally just pick it up, grab it by the head, shove its face down into the table. Is that the one you need? Here's a moment to look at your hand. Here's a moment to look at the floor.
Pawn.
All right, I will do with that what I will.
Mm-hmm. So, you have retrieved the mystical secret out of the demon. Do you do what you will? Destroy it? Learn? What do you do?
I wonder what what's Obsidian up to. Let's cut the scene there.
Meanwhile,
I'm not kidding when I say I had nothing.
no, I had an idea for you.
All right,
One
dope.
idea. Roll me dexterity war to plan out a strategy to get the most fish.
Hold up, I gotta go find my character sheet. I haven't had to look at it for a couple hours. Whoa.
You okay over there, bud?
I scared the shit out of myself. So I had minimized roll 20 at the start of the session before I was in, and then just opened up roll 20 for the first time, which apparently just makes it roll every roll that has happened this session all at once,
Oh no.
and played every sound effect at once.
Oh no. Dang.
Yeah, it's fine. This is relaxing. This is vacation. I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't try and stress myself out on vacation. That would be weird.
Yeah, you managed to catch a fair decent amount of fish. You notice one or two things as you are catching the fish, though. One, they're in incredibly good health, and two, they look a little odd. Like, as you study them, they're not quite like fish you've seen in other rivers around here or in the Yanase. They're like god-blooded, maybe? They're not quite entirely fish. There's a bit of divinity in them.
Bite the fish.
I wouldn't say wit survival. Would be wit survival. Get a better look at this fish.
Yeah, that would work.
Wit's occult. Let's go wit's occult since that is literally the same roll.
Okay,
And I feel like that's more fitting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. I know fish.
Yeah, these are totally normal fish that have just had a diluted bloodline or perhaps just a radiated presence or blessings from some sort of god. And if you had to guess, it's the god of the head river waters. Like, the people in the Trident River Valley mentioned that they viewed the river as sacred and pure and that they believed there was a divinity at the head of the river. Probably the same sort of situation going on here. And it seems that the god has blessed the river to be bountiful. And by bountiful, it means that the fish have bits of the god in them.
It's good fish.
Well, tosses it in the basket.
Yeah, that's about all the information you were going to be getting out of the fishing scene.
Goes back to fishing. Pulls hat down over the face. This is my day off.
Yep. Yeah, it is. You can be assured that it's like, oh, I can't eat the sacred fish or they're going to be... No, these are like literally custom designed to be fruitful and multiply, extremely delicious, made to be eaten fish.
I'll probably show these to Repose later. Be like, hey, you gotta load these fish.
It's good fish. Nod my head to that fish.
So, back to Milan. No more stalling.
So Milan's gonna wake up about noonish. Anima's already at burning level, and he just looks drained. Just like he had been up all night, but he was asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And he just stumbles out, looks around for old man.
Old man
Walks
is
up.
dutifully waiting for the waffles.
Man, everyone thinks you're shit. That fucking rules. You keep doing you.
For what it's worth, I don't want them. But I made a deal.
Damn right. Who wants waffles?
Milan's cousin.
Whoa, Milan said a swear.
All right, so.
And Milan makes waffles.
I
I passed the message. Would you argue that I technically passed around that message, Darren?
Wait, the first thing you said was the message when you bolted up?
Yes.
Yep.
By the barest semantic association. Yes.
Like I said, I was going to twist and distort it.
If you squint very hard at what Milan exactly just said, yes, there is a secret of enlightenment in there, as told by the demon. Congratulations on you for legitimately making it as hard as possible to find it.
Oh, look at that. The specialist in bureaucracy is good at obfuscation. Good job,
Mission
Milan.
accomplished.
What Milan said was, everyone hates your guts, and that rules. Keep doing it.
Everyone thinks that you are shit.
Yeah, everyone thinks that you're shit.
I would actually say that phrasing is important.
Yeah, everyone thinks you're shit, and that rules. Keep it up.
Thumbs up.
And then Milan's gonna make some waffles.
The wisdom of the air.
Weird dream.
Whack.
Engler would not be there for the waffles. He'd already be at the palace or whatever.
One last thing before group reconvening. Yakaman, what would you be up to de-stress?
I mean, this town doesn't have a crime, right?
I mean, like, all towns will have some level of civil unrest and crime, but, like, not really worth, like, punching people.
Yeah, I'm gonna go patiently mediate if there's anything heated. If there's some kids around, I don't know. Any of the ones that are just, I'll teach them some, like, stuff about origin. You know, civil servant shit.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be Kiryu, but instead of on the streets, I'm gonna be jumping lavishly from rooftop to rooftop.
You saying you're gonna be Kiryu is making me think I need to give you a Yakuza side quest at some point, but I don't have a particularly good idea for that in mind. I will get to that.
For the benefit of the recording.
It's so fucking good. Just a fucking beefy hand coming in. Also, yeah, as chat pointed out, Cigarette is the kind of demon where rules lawyering while still fitting exactly within the rules is encouraged. So,
Yeah, they're a part of Cecilin, right?
I'm pretty sure they're a second soul of Cecilin, yeah.
Where, yeah, part of Cecilin is like in great part like the malevolent genie who will do everything possible to give you things you say you want, but in ways you didn't expect. But she also wants you to do the same back. She engages in horrible, twisting legalistic cruelty to challenge you to rise above it and claim what you deserve.
Yeah. She teaches you that laws are tools of the powerful used to abuse the weak, and the point of that is so challenge that and make truly just laws, and or ignore them and go claim what you will with your strength alone.
Just go apeshit.
Yes. So honestly, the way Milan handled this is basically exactly what Cigarette would have wanted out of this exchange. Just like, fair play, well done. So, beyond that, I don't have any other pressing kind of things.
I got one last thing.
Go ahead.
So, over waffles, I'm going to go to repose, say, okay, I think I know how to replicate summoning that demon. How do I do that responsibly?
Don't.
Like, I did what you said, and I dug Mila's talons into it, and I tore it apart. I think I can remake it, or even a different one.
So of the group, because Old Man does not have Summon Demon, it would probably be Repose who has the most insight on this.
Yeah, I'm asking, like, how do I do this responsibly?
As with any dangerous tool, they should be put to use only when necessary.
Nothing frivolous. Nothing needless.
And always kept completely within one's control.
Alternatively, for most situations, there's a demon for that.
And here we have the shotgun wizard stance.
Yes,
we
for other
have
the
campaigns
first
where I were
character I
myself
played
playing
with
the shotgun
Loon.
wizard,
Yep.
it would be just all the time. There's never a situation that can't be fixed by demons. Just be Dr. Demons and always summon more demons.
What's
This
this?
is not that character.
The first time I ever played Exalted with Loon, I can't remember much about Loon's character gimmick aside from the fact that one of his catchphrases was, "There's a demon for that."
I mean, there is. There always is.
Summoning a demon.
The character was an infernal, and they get alternate versions of all of the summons that happen faster but give you less control for a given tier.
Oh no.
Like, so they could do first circle summon at like ordinary sorcery speed instead of this is a once per day possible ritual. You could actually have a demon out on short notice, just poof. There it is. And it will listen to you because you are its superior and will bludgeon it into obedience. For the higher level summons, it is, alright, the second circles might respect your opinions because you are a peer. And third circle, well, you let it out. Good luck.
Well, you aimed and fired. Please hope you aimed away from face.
Yes. Anyway.
I would
Rose
say
won't
out of
tell you
character-
not to learn summoning, but he will be very concerned. It is good that you expressed concern about doing this.
I would say out of character, you know categorically one other sorcerer than Old Man that it does. Like, I have said this in character to Repose. I don't remember if I had it Milan now, but Koi does know how to summon demons and does approach them with that same mentality.
I think I picked that up at some point, but yeah.
Yeah, like if you wanted a mentor in responsible demoning, Koi would not be a bad start.
That's why Milan went to propose. Like, yeah, you're the right person. You're the one who yelled at me for the second circle demon. You're gonna know how to handle first circle demons. Really, I should know how to do it, but hey, someone taught me wrong.
Be patient, and you will know the proper time. And
Someone
like
taught
with a friendly hand on shoulder that then
the
tightens into a
spiral
firm
cat.
hand on shoulder, and he kind of slides in very close abruptly, as he sometimes do.
That was
Were
that
you
was
not
a
the
slight
one
ad.
who suggested that we take time away from our usual affairs?
I just
And then
wanted-
immediately release and slide away and just walk away as if nothing had happened.
I just wanted some time to do paperwork.
And then my brother kidnapped me.
And then I was taught how to play Zhang.
It was
And
your
then you
first
did
day.
it too well.
And then I did it too well. Milan's really good at Mahjong.
Anyway, if we're then willing to slide into some decompressed time,
Yep.
Repose is
yeah,
definitely going to
This would
float
be the
some
next week of vacation.
Yeah.
Repose is going to be floating some ideas about ways to make it more convenient to travel over the cliff, so that there can be more contact and exchange between the two river provinces here.
Mm-hmm.
Where obviously you could put up front, it would take a very long time and a lot of effort to just carve some fucking stairs into it, which if he does end up finding the time to just live here for 30 years, you just go ahead and do that as a favor to everyone.
And for the record, the Milan was taught wrong was not at Old Man. That was at the Spiral Academy.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's also correct for Old Man.
He's done a pretty good job of it.
No, he hasn't.
Taught wrong
I
by
mean,
everyone's
who's a
standards. By
sorcerer and who isn't?
You specifically said you were going to teach him wrong.
No,
Yes.
I taught him correctly. It's just that being taught correctly is being taught wrong.
Doesn't
Yes.
make any sense.
Yes.
Correct.
Correct.
And that's why Milan can do sorcery
Welcome
now.
to sorcery.
But anyway, so as
Did
a
Angler ever find that drunk?
He's fine.
I actually got interrupted in the middle of thinking about that. Roll me your tailing roll.
He's going to use his boots to.
Yeah, no, you don't need to roll because you have the boots. Yeah, he's fine. He has a couple of near miss moments where it seems like he's about to like fall over into a ditch and just kind of like aspirate. But you get the feeling that by virtue of having an eye on him, he got home fine.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you and fuck you for chat for being taught Ron. Ron Rusher, that's wonderful.
I need a T-shirt that says that.
Smash cut to like we're going on vacation. Smash cut. The gang summons a don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to be reaching over here into one of my major project slots and writing in the idea here. So, again, the long-term best answer would be to just carve a giant stairway ramp into the cliff so that people could just walk at an appropriate grade from one side to the other. A much lower cost up front that would probably really be a necessary first step anyway to getting that done, though. First, surveying the mountain out in great detail to find like the path of least resistance that one could try to climb it, and then installing a lot of rope. Create a
Now,
series
what
of ropeways between feasible places one could camp to make it so that the daring can have a bit of a goat path that can be used for limited direct travel.
And, maybe sometime in the future, path wide enough for commerce.
Yeah, okay. That's a pretty good roll. I'll give you one stunt on that.
Yep, and just so I suppose the bulk of the week of time spent here is
Working on
meeting
that.
with Steele and talking out the ideas of how this can be done feasibly from the engineering side of things and the organizing side of things.
Mm-hmm.
There's 8 successes of an architecture roll of, all right, how do we build the precursor to the big
yeah,
step?
you got that shit planned out real easily. Again, the planning is the easy part. The implementing it is the harder part, but you are also a demigod. So a week's time will let you put on some ropes and pylons of a kilometer high cliff.
I fully expect Propose to punch his way into making the staircase.
That will still take a while.
That would take a very long time. That would be like a major or maybe even higher scale crafting project.
Yeah, in terms of regular architecture, that's artifact equivalent stuff. That's tier 3
Yeah.
projects.
Yeah. That was
Did
just
you,
me
like-
saying I can see.
Yeah, that's comparable effort to an aqueduct.
Yeah. So, what else would be done with people over their vacation? Because this is a legit vacation. There will be no more plot interruptions over the next week.
Angler's going to spend most of the time helping out with bureaucratic stuff. In some ways, since he's used to doing it for so long, it's like entering into that Zen state when you're watching television or something, or playing a really low effort video game of just.
You're back in a state of flow. Even if you're working, it's just, satisfying. And you haven't done it in long enough that it's like, yeah, okay.
And
So,
then
yeah.
just meeting and just generally getting to chat with the administrator, and just because, not friends per se, but just getting that like basic knowledge of each other.
Acquaintances. A steel-tearing bureaucrat from, your week's chat with them as you help them with their work, and they take very large amounts of pride in being able to help run this whole province, but also an equal amount of pride in not being the sole reason it functions. Like, obviously, if they died, there would be a huge gap in the supernatural ability to keep everything running. But they have not set themselves up to be the central linchpin at which everything runs, and without them, everything is doomed. It is not the Scarlet Empress model, as it is. They are merely the top of a very efficient bureaucratic machine and help it run far faster than it otherwise would. They view themselves as a public servant, and overall are surprisingly humble for a dragon blood, to the point where you're not sure if they were ever raised to believe in themselves as like a superpowered deity or demigod or prince of the earth, or all of the usual affectations of I have superpowers, respect me and or worship me, just aren't really there.
I have added a minor positive tie of this person gets it.
Yeah, we could
Milan
hash
proves.
out during the miscellaneous small talk over this time. Confirmation, they're local.
Yeah.
Let's hear about them. What's their deal?
They just exalted about 150 to 200 years ago in an already well-established bureaucratic state as the the child of two bureaucratic officials, and otherwise treated their exaltation as just, well, now I can do the job of my parents more efficiently. Effectively just stepped into the role of I am a bureaucrat, and by virtue of their abilities being so incredibly potent, were able to kind of half against their will, but half like, yeah, no, this is the only way this is really going to go, get elevated to a top position in charge of most everything, by sheer virtue of like being able to do the work of 100 people. And from there have just kind of settled into, I just want this to go well for everybody else. The one thing that you would say kind of sticks out in the crawl, and part of why they actually have the name of Steel-Tearing Bureaucrat, as at first it's like, well, you're not exactly a very violent person and you haven't really done a lot of tearing, is one thing that does set them off quite hard is people interfering with their system. And not in a way where it's like a genuine, well-intentioned, I'm trying to like improve the efficiency, or I'm doing somebody coming in and throwing wrenches around for the sake of throwing wrenches around throws them into a rage. And that is how they got their name of one time when they discovered a corrupt official in one of the departments that had been taking a lot of bribes and a lot of money off into their own personal account. Literally tore through a steel emplaced a barrier against the door that had been put against them to buy time and killed them. The animosity towards the Bronze Axe was largely just because fuck that guy, and also the Bronze Axe was so obviously paranoid of you're a dragon blood, so you must have territorial conquest ambitions down here, was just like met with a mix of pity and irritation of, are you really gonna have to actually make me come down and do something about you because you're not gonna stop being a problem? But you eventually solved that problem. Otherwise, they are just kind of somebody who just takes a simple pride in being able to do their work in their territory and take care of themselves. Honestly, if you're spending a week to doing the chit chat, there would probably be the 1 or 2 times that you would ask about teeth, wouldn't there? When the lunars come up, the topic is usually changed, not in a directly like hostile, I don't want to talk about this way, or a glib, I'm trying to make you not realize I'm doing this way. It's more along the lines of, live and let live kind of feeling. There is the sensation of an unspoken history that was a lot nastier between this province and the lunar at some point, and both sides have just settled into a bitter, it's not fucking worth it. Whatever history was between the two of them has cooled off into, this is just gonna keep going forever unless we just stop. So you stay over there and we stay over here. And that is the general overview.
Alright, so as part of setting up the ropeway, it would probably be time, within the building to also like briefly touch base and be like, yeah, hi, I'm back. This string leads up the hill to the other state. Tread carefully. Have like daring messengers on each side, given a chance to get a tour of the place, offer feedback. And for bookkeeping purposes, I'm going to assert that this is something that hits all 3 objectives.
Yes, absolutely.
Where this has definitely been part of making a good first impression with Steel. I have upgraded Repose's intimacy to crafting to a major. And the clear, tangible benefit of, well, I am now seeing Trident River as my turf, and this is a thing of direct benefit and use. Having this line of communication.
Yep.
And recording payouts accordingly.
Yep, go right on ahead. Let's see, that's Repose, Angler taken care of. Milan, did you have any particular practice?
Milan, at some point is going to meet Steel Tearing Beer Cat and form a minor friendship because, yeah, this person gets it.
Yeah, no, they quickly get into a rapport with you when they understand. Like, once it's past the realm, the moment of, oh, you're from the realm, and then it's like, oh, you're cool, though.
There's a moment of same hat.
Yeah. If anything, there's sympathy from Steel of just like, oh, you poor bastard, you were raised in the wrong place for who you are.
I was raised in a place where someone needed me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's other than meeting this person, Milan's taking a vacation. Milan is light bit of paperwork and then just taking it easy.
Okay. Yang, I'm assuming, would be Yakamanning? Side questing?
I'm probably going to do some authorized, being a forest ranger, basically, just going, like, making sure people who are out hunting, if anyone's spraying their leg, I'll make sure they're okay. Fix it for them, or anything like that. If anyone's in trouble, I'll go get them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, just do good in general. Maybe run a workshop with the local teens about, safety against wolves and shit. I don't know. Civil servant stuff.
If I think of
Safety against wolves.
What?
I mean, you are in near lunar territory. That is non-zero.
Against
But-
wolves?
Yeah, that's a spell. Safety.
How to be
against
safe
wolves.
against wolves.
I see.
I
I don't actually see.
If I think of anything in particular over the week that might happen,
Yeah,
I'll
we
bring
can
that.
workshop that for a bit. My brain's starting to run low.
Obsidian, would you just be fishing, or would you have other things you'd be doing around?
I've really got nothing. I'm also
That's
gonna let
fine.
low
Again, we can
brain
workshop or
energy.
bring something up next week. And old man would be old man. Presumably.
Now, what
Most
does
of the
old
time,
man
yeah.
do?
Do you actually want to know a day in the life of the old man?
Yes,
Sure.
I do.
The day in the life of the old man really does usually end up with he wakes up before the sun comes out. If he went to sleep at all, because frequently he doesn't. Then goes up to the tallest mountain, point that he can. Very grossly, just kind of licks the moisture off of whatever he's on, because that's part of being. People don't really talk about that one much, but that's part of subsisting off the morning dew and all that.
You gotta lick
It's
it.
very gross. And he then, meditates for most of the rest of the day. It's pretty simple.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, I can just move the calendar forward a week, and I think I might just call it that for the night. And next week we can pick up out of the compressed time, catch up on things again, see where people are feeling like going, and if
Yeah.
nothing else is happening, have some plot move again.
Yeah, sounds good.
It was a nice, chill session. I'm glad I finally got to introduce Steel Tearing Bureaucrat. I have liked them for a while and have been looking forward to that.
I really like this person.
They seem very nice.
I also appreciate the very, very good art.
Yeah, let's get the next of those.
That is making fucking sense.
Next time.
Next time.
Next time.